Good morning and welcome back to day number 3, the third and final day of this opening clash between Wanderers and A&A Auto Parts Empire. A beautiful day for some cricket here at Darrow's Road. I'm Rashawn Hackett and alongside me is a great man, Mr. Andy Payne. How are you doing today, sir?
Good morning, Rashawn. Good morning to the viewers. I'm excellent. Another lovely day, like you said, for cricket. Conditions are fantastic. Sun is out in its glory. Not many clouds around, and we also having a little bit of a breeze.
Yes, most definitely a superb day for some cricket here. The grass is cut, the sun is out, and a little bit of a breeze, as you mentioned. So it's a beautiful day for some cricket, and I'm really looking forward to what we have here today. Currently, Empire are in the driver's seat, but Wanderers are still putting in a fight back after 2 days of action, and it all comes down to today right here at Darrow's Road.
Yeah, today will matter. Both teams probably looking for a result. Empire, like you rightfully said, they're very much in the lead, so to speak. There's some 13 runs still on. The Wanderers, there's still 13 runs in deficit, but there's still 5 wickets to go. And as you see the players making their way into the middle now, the batters, Gerald Lovell, the captain, and Ian Boyce, who looked very solid yesterday evening to close out the afternoon.
Yes, Ian Boyce, he definitely looks solid. Almost every ball hit his bat, and we were talking about it yesterday, so I'm keen to see if he comes back out with the same energy and the same approach today. But just in case spectators weren't here yesterday on the stream, let's just give them a quick run through of what transpired over the past 2 days. On day number 1, Wanderers would have won the toss and been bowled out by Empire for 176, my apologies, with a superb bowling spell from young Jaden Yard. Now I'll put a pause in that. Jaden Yard, he was so impressive on the first day, taking 7 for 41, Andy. What did you make of that performance?
Yeah, he used the conditions well. Like you said, the pitch on day 1 was offering a little bit of something for him. He's not of express pace by any stretch of the imagination, but what he did well on day 1 was that he had good variations, and he really bowled a good line and length, which caused the batsman into some demise, and that was excellent stuff from the young man.
Yes, excellent stuff indeed. And coming back on day number 2, Empire posed a mammoth 361 for 9 declared, led by Kofi Hurdle, who scored a brilliant 108 from 96 deliveries, 8 fours, 9 sixes. But Kevin Stowe also contributed with 59 runs. But as we see, it looks to be Dre Springer with ball in hand right now, and it will be Captain Jared Lovell facing up. So we're ready for the first ball of day number 3. Springer starts with one outside of the off stump. Lovell just having a flash at it, but no bat.
Yes, as we go back to day number 2, when you said the Empire, they got up to 371 for 9 undeclared. But impressive not what Kofi Hurdle. He really batted excellently. He paced his innings very well. So he got himself in. He was overnight at some 13 runs or thereabout. But when he got a chance yesterday, he was given 2 chances, and he really capitalized. We had a chance in 24 and 61, and he made the Wanderers pay.
Yes, definitely. We see young Dre Springer coming in to deliver the second ball. Short delivery, back of a length, and it's punched out to deep backward point. They'll just come through for the first run of the morning.
Yeah, so first run of the morning off the bat of the captain. But this continues to be a lovely batting pitch. As you said, Kofi Hurdle batted excellently yesterday. But the pitch, I mean, it was superb for batting. I mean, the ball was really coming on well. The pace was coming on. And the bunks was good. So it was a true batting pitch. And the batters spent time to show that you can really capitalize on such a good surface.
Yes, you talked about that pitch being good. It looks to be a good pitch today here as Springer delivers the third ball. Flash outside of the off stump from Boyce, but he doesn't get any bat on it. Back to the pitch though, Andy. I had a chat with Kofi Hurdle earlier this morning in an interview, and he too seemed to enjoy that pitch yesterday. He described it as easy for batting, telling me that it was true. The pace was consistent, so he just found it easy. And all he had to do was stay patient and just bat long, and that's how the runs came.
Yeah, and that's what good batsmanship is about, assessing the conditions early, getting yourself in, and once you get yourself in, you can capitalize.
Yes. Ian Boyce faces up to Dre Springer, just leaving that one outside of the off stump. So Springer looks to be starting a lot more consistently than he did yesterday. It looks to be a good start so far, 3 outside of the off stump.
Well, he's got the support. He's got those 2 slits behind there. He's just got the point deep on the boundary. He's got an extra cover and a mid-off. So you just want to concentrate on about that off stump. Just get his rhythm going. I mean, It's a cool morning, like you said, and he's should be relishing these conditions. Really, it's not too hot. I just want to get his line and length going from early.
Yes, definitely. And we see he started with the 3 fielders out on the boundary. A deep point, deep square, deep fine leg. That's a bit wide. Full delivery outside of the off stump. A lovely, lovely delivery from Dre Springer. He's starting on the ball.
Yeah, and good carry to keeper Mario Albert as well. So delivery, like you said, just containing outside that line of that off stump. And this is a good start. He predominantly one who could bring the ball back into the right hander. So I think he's on a good line here.
Yes, he definitely is on a good line as Wanderers still trail by 12 runs. They'll look to get these 12 runs early in the morning and then build a score for Empire to have to chase to win this game. Short delivery from Springer. Boyce just up on his toes, punching it in to the offside for 1 run. And that brings the first over of the morning to an end, 184 for 5.
Yeah, 184 for 5, still very much in the deficit of 11 runs. But a good start there by young Dre Springer, like you said. Just bowling that impressive line outside the off stump, ball carrying to the keeper. Good pace and good height. So he should be happy with that first over.
Yes, I'm sure that he will be happy with that first over. And we see now Jaden Edmond, the ever so experienced opening bowler, coming from the other end. We've talked about him playing first-class cricket already, so I'm sure that he'll come here today and look to do the same as Dre Springer, hit his lines and lengths early on in the day. We see him just having a stretch there. And Boyce will face up the first delivery of Edmond.
Well, yeah, Edmond, he got better as the day went on yesterday. Like you said, he was a bit rusty in that first innings. Really picked up 2 wickets. I mean, he's got 2 in the second innings as well. But as we saw in the second innings, his bowling was getting a bit more accurate. He became a bit more accurate with his bowling. And he seems to get into a better rhythm, especially bowling from the Richard Prof Edwards in.
Yes, he does seem to be getting in a better rhythm. 2 slips, deep point. Cover in place, mid on, mid off, short mid wicket, deep square, fine leg. Edmond comes in, full delivery to start. Firmly driven from Boyce, but Sealy does well, no run.
Yeah, starting a bit on the fuller side. So Boyce just coming on the front foot, hitting up to Captain Nathan Sealy. But I'd be interested to see what length he walks the ball at Jaden Edmond, because like I said, he's generally a fuller length bowler. But this pitch is so good, you just need to be varying your lines and your length here, pulling your length back a bit.
Yes, most definitely he will look to want to hit that good channel outside of the off stump, potentially bring the slips into place. We see Ralston Chase and Kevin Stout setting up for a catch. Just flicking that one down to the fine leg fielder. That's Dre Springer. Does well, restricts them to just 1 run.
Yes, and like you said, he'd be interested. He needs to probably pull his length back a little bit on this surface. But traditionally, he's a fuller length bowler. But this surface is so good. I'm saying if the batters get in and he continues to bowl that full length, he could pay.
Yes, the surface is very good indeed. It reminds me of just yesterday when I was saying that nothing can get Raymond Reefer out on this surface. He was in, he was set, Andy. And I just said that I see him going on to score the 3 figures, but he proceeded to tell me that the game of cricket, anything can happen. And the very next over, he was dismissed. So anything can happen. Edmond will be looking to make something happen.
That's a good length. That's a good length. He just needs to be patient. Bowl those lengths, hard length on that 4th stump, and just wait the batsman to make an error.
Yes, definitely. Lovell. He's batting down the order, batting at number 7 today because he would have sustained an injury yesterday. Normally would do the number 3 role, but he's batting down the order today, so he's definitely one that can come and get a big score for his team, which is exactly what Wanderers need, Andy. They need a big score. They need a big partnership from Lovell and Boyce here. He just blocks that one off with the back foot. No run.
And that's what you got to do. You got to really bide your time. Like you said, number 3 batter coming down the order. The ball a bit older. No ball signal there as well by umpire Leon Lane. But yeah, it's coming down the order. Your team is in a bit of trouble, so you just need the patience to bat the application. There's no rush. So this should be a good opportunity for someone like Lovell to just spend time in the middle.
Most definitely. Just driving that one beautifully to the offside, and it runs close into the boundary, but fielder yard gives chase. picks it up cleanly, and they come back for 2. So Lovell opening his account today with a lovely flowing drive through the offside.
Well, yeah, he had a shot early on the offside from Dre Springer that he punched up to the deep point, and he's got himself in a really good position. His timing seems to be good, so this should gather his confidence really, playing these nice shots out the offside.
Yes, I'm sure that that drive will do much to his confidence. He's currently just 6 from 9 deliveries. Boyce 28 from 40. So Boyce is in and he's set, and he'll be looking to carry on here today to get a big score for his team. That's exactly what Wanderers would want. Edmund comes in. Another full delivery, driving that one straight to the mid-off fielder.
Yes, and like I said, Lovell, he's no hurry here. Just need to bat plenty balls and get himself going. Like I said, this surface is one that you really have to throw your hand away if you get yourself in.
Yes, definitely. They just need to bat, Andy. Ideally, I think that the best thing to happen here for Wanderers today is that they bat and take as much time out of the game as possible. Put a lead on the board and leave Empire with little to no time to chase these runs. Let them have a go at it. Lovell just easing on the back foot, guiding that one behind point all the way for 4 runs. A lovely shot. He looks to be in excellent timing, Andy.
Yeah, well timed again. Another no ball. So guilty of overstepping again is Jaden Eltman. But he got into a good position and he just guided that one past Roston Chase at gully. And that man at deep backward point had no chance running around to his left. Like we said, the outfield here is very fast at the Wanderers. So anything being in the inner field, it had no chance. Looks like Yard running around from backward point.
He just looked easy on the eye on that occasion. I was describing him yesterday as a class player. He's one that can play shots all around the ground, on the front foot, on the back foot. And already this morning, we've seen it. We've seen him play an exquisite drive through the offside. And we've seen him now get back on the back foot, cutting that one behind point for 4 runs. So he looks in good touch today.
Yeah, good timer of the ball.
Edmund makes his way in, cutting that one off the back foot again, goes down to the point fielder. They'll come through for just 1 run, bringing yet another over to an end. 193 for 5.
193 for 5. Like you said, that deficit continues to be raised. Just 2 runs in deficit now. So this is a good partnership. Play there between this pair. Like we said, Boyce, who was the main man yesterday, and no Captain Lovell, just showing his ease at the crease. He's moved his tally up to 11 off 12, and with what was an excellent place back in that previous over.
Yes, you talked about Boyce being the main man so far, and he's also done it with the ball for Wanderers, taking 4 wickets in the first inning. So he's an all-round player with the ability to change a game, and he'll be looking to change this game today, get some runs on the board for Wanderers, and get them in a good position where they put runs on the board for Empire to chase.
2 senior men, like you said, Ian Boyce, who was a former captain of this Wanderers team. And now he's here with a new captain in Gerald Lovell, so I'm sure he is still one of the main decision makers in the team, definitely Ian Boyce. But here is his new captain. I'm sure this pair will want to put on a big partnership and really get the team back into the position to force for a win.
Yes, I'm sure of that. Lovell driving that one down behind the point region, but it won't go all the way. Fielder Kobe Williams does well on the boundary, so they come back for 2 runs. Wanderers looking to be positive early this morning. Just driving well. They've been playing well off of the front foot and the back foot, Andy. We see the partnership between Lovell and Boyce going up to 30 runs.
Yeah, he looks easy on the eye, like you said, just opening the face on that occasion. And you hear the applause. That's because the scores are now level.
Yes, scores level now. Lovell just pulling that one into the leg side. Doesn't get it well, but he still scampers through a quick single. So Wanderers now have the lead, and they'll look to now build a total. So they're pretty much now starting their innings, Andy.
They're pretty much starting their innings. They've just got 5 wickets with it as well. So still quite a bit of batting to come down to Nells. He's one who can get on with it as well. So they just need to put a runs on the board that they feel the bowlers will be comfortable to bowl at.
Yes, Jordan Nells adds a bit of depth to the Wanderers batting. Boyce just forward leaving on that occasion. Springer, he's really looked good this morning, hitting his lines, hitting his lengths, hitting very good areas. I'm very impressed from the short spell that we've seen him Springer so far this morning, and I'd like to see him continue on this path that he's going on.
Well, he looks good, like you said, and it's good rhythm. Bowling outside the off stump, maybe if this is what he's intended to do, maybe they can give him a bit more protection on the offside. But they've got a really of a 5-4 field, so I think they ideally want him to bowl a bit straighter.
Yes. Springer now runs into Boyce. Full delivery outside of the off stump. He's holding that channel. Boyce not tempted to play as yet. He's still maintaining his patience early on in the day.
Yeah, he looked solid yesterday. Like I said, everything was hitting dead middle of his bat.
See young Dre Springer. He's back. He's fit for this season. Was faced with a bit of injuries last season, but I'm happy to see him back out on the park. Bowling fast, bowling consistent. Another good delivery.
Like you said, good deliveries indeed. If he can continue along that line, like I said, Captain Nathan Seeley might be inclined to bring one of these fielders from the leg side over into that offside and give him another catcher in that slip cordon.
Yes, I definitely think that Captain Nathan Seeley should consider putting another catcher in that region, especially if Springer is going to be toiling away outside that off-stump line. You wouldn't want for one to go through there. No fielder. Ooh, that should even be more reasoning now, Andy. A flash outside of the off-stump. But that flash brings another over to an end. 197 for 5 after 34 overs.
Yeah, another consistent over being bowled there by Dre Springer, like you said, just traveling the outside edge of the bat. Ball's going through to Mario Albert. Had a good pace and a good carry. So sure, Nathan Seeley, he must be considering giving another catcher in that slip cordon because, like I said, he's been very consistent this morning and his rhythm looks really good.
Yes, we see young Nathan Seeley talking with the captain of the West Indies team, Roston Chase, perhaps discussing some strategies. I hope that they're discussing putting in another slip for young Dre Springer because he's really bowling well, and I can see him inducing an edge from one of these batsmen with the channel that he's bowling and the length that he's bowling. So I'd love to see him with another slip next over.
Well, at least a young captain, he's got at his disposal the experience of someone like Roston Chase. Like I said, he is the current West Indies Test captain, and he's also got the likes of Kevin Stout here at slip and Mario Albert, who are very good thinkers of the game.
Edmund. Good delivery on the line of the off stump. Lovell just tucking it into the leg side. Comes for 1 run. A beautiful Sunday for some cricket here at Wanderers though, Andy. Couldn't ask for any better conditions than what we have here.
Yes, excellent conditions, as we said earlier in the morning. Good pitch for batting. The outfield is very fast. Like you said, I always speak about the size of the boundaries here. It always gives you a good chance of making runs. And once you show up at the batting, you come here and get these type of conditions. It really entices you to want to carry on and make big scores.
Yes, most definitely. One batsman already getting a big score so far in this game. We had a couple 50s. Raymond Reefer for Wanderers. Kevin Stout for Empire. Shem Watson falling just short in the first innings. Boyce just forward. Oh, there's a bit of confusion in the middle. He gets back safely though.
Good, excellent mover in the field is Roston Chase. See the West Indies captain moving around swiftly from gully, getting a good bounce, and really had the two batters in a bit of shamble there in the middle. Yes, no stop. But Boyce in the end got back to his mark. But good movement in the field by Roston Chase.
Yes, Roston Chase. He's always been a good fielder. We see him occupy the point region for the West Indies, but today he's in a different position. He's in the slips, giving someone else an opportunity. But Boyce seemed to be all about that single level, wanted no part of it. But they live to see another day. Edmund comes into Boyce. Just full on that occasion. Boyce firmly driving it back to Edmund, and he does well to get a hand on it. No run.
And yes, that's the panic of an excellent feeder Gerard Lovell just gratefully said no, the ball is going to Chase, who's a very good fielder. So you always get that panic when the balls go to one of the better fielders.
Yes, most definitely. He would have probably just had a look, seen it was Roston, not interested anymore. Good delivery outside line of the off stump. Something I'm noticing is that he's getting a very, very good bounce.
Yeah, the ball's been carrying well to keep Mario Albert. So that's why I'm a bit surprised that they don't have some more men in this catching region. Just be interested in what the tactic really is. What the choice of dismissal? What is the mode of dismissal? What are the intentions to get the batter out?
Yes, they look to be a bit defensive early this morning, having deep square, fine leg, deep point. So there's protection on the boundary, although we've not seen any signs of huge aggression from the Wanderers batsmen as yet, but umpire opting to be proactive instead of waiting for the aggression. They've implemented the fielders early. Boyce driving that one. Oh, a bit of sloppy work from Skipper Seeley. Goes to him, and they come back for 2 runs, what really should have been 1. And it brings up the 200 for Wanderers.
Yeah, 201. At the end of that over, 201 for 5. Some 35 overs batted. The run rate continues to be very good. They're still scoring at some 5.71 in this innings. So a good partnership continues to build between Boyce and Captain Gerard Lovell.
Yes, Wanderers now taking their lead up to 5 runs. As young Dre Springer will make a return back from the pavilion inn.
And that inn is named after Stephen Farmer. I know I gave you some homework last night. I'll be interested if you just get quickly here to the 3Ws Oval, where the University of the West Indies is up against Superb Blend Gladiola. UWI 126 for 6. Stephon Griffith picking up 2 wickets. And Demel Evelyn, he's very much there at the crease. He's on 29.
Yes, as we make a switch back over to Darrell's Road, where Dre Springer is at the top of his mark, and Jared Lovell Springer on a consistent line and length there. He's bowling very well for the morning so far. That delivery, Lovell just blocks it out to the cover region, scampers a quick single.
He said he's had a good start, Dre Springer. Just really baffles me. There's no way they don't have another man in that slip catching region. Rashawn.
Yes, it does baffle me as well. Perhaps I'll have a talk with Skipper Seeley afterwards, just find out what the thought process was. Boyce driving that one, but Edmund does well in cover, no run.
Yeah, Edmund's a good fielder in any position on the cricket field. You know, he's a fast bowler by nature, but he's really a good mover in the field.
Yes, but back to this fielding. I'm really interested to know what the plan would be at this current moment because we see a deep square and a fine leg in place. And normally when you see a field set like this, you'd expect bowlers to be bowling a lot straighter, perhaps even a short delivery, but we've seen neither Dre Springer. Well, he's straighter on that occasion, but for this morning so far, he's predominantly been outside the line of the off stump. So the deep square and the fine leg baffles me a bit, Andy.
A deep square and fine leg as is a deep point. I mean, like, it continues to pick up easy singles in that cut point region as both Boyce and Gerard Lovell, as you saw on the previous delivery.
Yes, it's a bit of an interesting field. No batsman as yet has shown me that they've cut a ball with aggression to need that deep point down there. I'd like to see the point fielder just come in saving that single instead of giving away easy runs. Look, another easy run there as we speak. And it wasn't an aggressive shot. It was just a front foot defense. If the fielder was in, it would have been no run.
But it's good. It's good batting really by the pair, Lovell and Boyce. Like you said, that man station at deep point. He's not any, like you said, any dangers really of playing some booming shots. So why give up an easy single?
Yes, we now see the adjustment. See, like he's heard us from up here. The fielder from deep point, Williams, comes in now, preventing that single, and that's a good call.
Well, ideally, you will want to induce the batters into playing some aggressive shots.
Boyce just driving that one through the cover region. It won't go all the way though. CD gives chase. They come back for 2 runs. Lovely shot there from Ian Boyce.
Yeah, just coming on the front foot and playing that one past Edmund. He says such a lovely pitch for batting. He said getting into a really good position, not extending his arms anyway, just placing it really and picking up another couple.
Yes, Wanderers now take their lead to double figures. They lead by 10 runs. Run rate continues to go at a steady pace, 5.72. Springer, just 1 ball left in this over. 5 runs coming off of it already. A lovely delivery, even more reasoning for that fielder to come into the slip cordon. But it brings another over to an end. 36 overs done, 205 for the loss of 5.
Yes, continues to be consistent is young Andreas Springer. 7 overs, 24 runs and 1 wicket, but bowling an excellent line outside that off stump. He said it continues to baffle me why he can't get a protection. He's got a man that deep back with his career. He started with a deep point, and again, he hasn't been bowling that short delivery like you spoke of. That those shots will come into play. So I think that the think tank got to really consider if they want to get the wicket, where they're going to get it from.
Yes, and we see Lovell doing a bit of gardening. I had a look at the wicket earlier this morning, Andy, and as you would know, no work should have been done on it last night coming into this day 3. So it's a bit cracked up, so I expect to see spinners doing some damage here today after the Pacers complete their spells. Cracks all over it, so there's some rough for the spinners to get some grip, to get some turn.
Yeah, it's been an excellent cricket pitch all match, like you said. Offering something for the bowlers in the first day, which was exploited by young Jaden Yard. And then yesterday, placid, great for batting.
Edmund comes back from the Prof. Edwards end.
So tell me, Prof. Edwards, you did your homework?
I did my homework, Andy.
What did you come up with? Research on Prof. Edwards. Tell me what you came up with.
Well, for the viewers that don't know, Andy gave me some homework yesterday. My teacher. And the homework was to research who Prof. Edwards was, because I admittedly did not know who he was. But Prof. Edwards, a former West Indies cricketer, played 5 test matches for the West Indies, and he picked up 18 test wickets, Andy. But most importantly, he was also a Wanderers man.
Yeah, very, very much well known here at the Wanderers. Sloppy work there by, looks like Perryman. Delivery, it just trickled to him and went through his legs, and the alertness of the batters was good enough to come in for a single.
Yes, Andy, but back to Prof. Edwards, though, he was a Wanderers player. He was an opening fast bowler as well, and I was even able to do some research on his statistics. Playing for the West Indies, he would have picked up 18 wickets and best bowling innings of 5 for 84 versus New Zealand in 1969. So I understand why you would say I should know who Prof. Edwards is. So I know now, and I know a bit more about my history for Barbados, West Indies, and Wanderers Cricket Club.
Oh, good to know. Good that I can induce you into doing your homework, and you pass with flying colors, Rashawn.
Boyce just not hitting that one how he would have wanted to.
And as we continue to speak about the pitch and the surfaces here, added to that, Richard Prof. Edwards. Well, I'll let you tell the viewers. Curator.
Oh, yes, Andy. I know how to think about what you were meaning. After his cricket career, he went on to be a pitch curator at the Kensington Oval, preparing some of those lovely surfaces that we see playing international cricket. So he's one who would have contributed heavily to cricket in Barbados, both on the field and off the field.
Yeah, so it's 2-part for you. I just was about to grade you for one part and then fail you for the second part.
Yes, I know how to think about what you meant there, but Prof. Edwards. My only question, though, Andy, is while I was doing my research, I didn't come across why they call him Prof. So where did the nickname Prof come from? I was searching and I could not find it.
Well, the professor. He's one of those people who's knowledgeable of the game, and he's always there to give advice. So he's very much a professor. We call him Richard Prof. Edwards.
Okay, that makes sense now. The professor, Prof. Edwards.
But saying good morning to his son Michael Edwards, who would have also played here at the Wanderers. Good friend of mine, now lives over and away. I'm sure he always follows Wanderers, so he could very much be viewing this stream. So Michael, very good afternoon to you.
Another bit of confusion there in the middle. Boyce seems to want the singles, Andy, but Lovell doesn't seem to be as keen on them. But that one beating Roston, so they end up coming through for the single.
Yeah, single was on. I mean, you just need to be backing up, and that one was on. That was well to the right of Roston Chase.
Yes. And Prof. Edwards as well, while I was doing my research, I came across the fact that he would have played alongside some of the greats of this game, such as Clive Lloyd. He would have played in teams captained by Gary Sobers and the likes of Charles Griffith. So he was one to be reckoned with back in the day.
Yeah, very good. Very good for Barbados. And like you said, he went on to play for the West Indies.
Yes.
Still pretty much around Wanderers. Sometimes you just might see him outside the wall peeping in.
Lovell just driving that one out to point. Coming for 1 run. For the viewers that were watching though, Andy, that was not the only bit of homework I had. I also had another bit of homework to find out who Dr. Joseph Reds Pereira was.
And this was given to by Wayne Holder.
This was given to me by Wayne Holder. He let me know that I need to know who Dr. Joseph Reds Pereira was. So I was busy last night doing homework, but while I was doing my homework, I realized that he was a legendary sports broadcaster, and he was honored by the West Indies for his commentary during the World Cup in 1975. So he was also a part of that legendary World Cup off the field.
Yes, Joseph Rez Pereira, Guyanese national, but lived in St. Lucia for a lot of time. One who I've had the privilege of doing some work alongside and having some interviews with. So, Rez, good man. Work alongside the great Tony Cozier.
Yes, Tony Cozier. I know Tony though. I didn't have to do my homework for that one. Another legendary sports broadcaster.
And who's also a Wanderers man, or would have been a Wanderers man.
Yes. 2 icons in the commentary field. We see Lovell doing a bit of gardening now. Perhaps just the cracks that I talked about. The wicket just opening up a bit. Dry surface. It's been very hot these last few days. So we'd expect some cracks here. We see Lovell just tapping in one of them.
This has been good. First half, no alarms. So this is good for the batters. Like I said,
Young Dre Springer makes his way in. Full delivery. Kept out well by Lovell.
yes, like I said, no alarms really. First half an hour, so the batters really getting set, really getting in tune of what's going on around them. And this is 2 good men to have to start the day. Like you said, Boyce batted excellently yesterday, intelligently, saw his team through to the close. And Captain Lovell, like you said, generally a number 3 batter, but coming here after being a bit concussed yesterday. And I said it will be a good position for him. Like I said, a bit of an older ball and a good surface.
Yes, he's forward. Still getting that single there, even though the point fielder is in. But I'd much rather see that where the fielders have to, where the batsmen have to scamper rather than just jog through for a single.
Yeah, well played again by Lovell, like you said, just coming forward and played it to the right of the point. So he didn't try to open the field on that occasion, as he's been doing a bit earlier when the point was a bit deeper. So good batting by the young man.
Yes, that single brings Boyce back into strike. Boyce, 34 from 56 deliveries. Jared Lovell, 20 from 24, so they both have starts. They look to carry on. Delivery outside of the off stump, left alone by Boyce.
Good batting again by Boyce. Just showing that patience, the application that we said is very much desired, and he's the man putting his head down and showing that he can do the job for his team.
Yes, he definitely will have a big responsibility here. Just bat as long as possible, get as many runs on the board for Wanderers as possible alongside Captain Lovell. They both have a big role to play here today if they stand a chance of winning this game. Cutting, oh, and it goes over the head of Roston Chase, and it goes all the way into the boundaries. 4 runs.
Yeah, 4 runs, the ball on the shorter side and going for the cut. Like you said, inducing a bit of an older edge, but getting past Chase and said if there's ever a chance for mode of dismissal, you will fancy it being in that cordon. And so it continues to baffle me, but there's still not enough protection in that area. But forward to the good of Ian Boyce.
Yes, that one flying through the slips. If there's anyone you'd expect to take it, it would be Ralston Chase. So you'd know that that one would have to be a difficult chance. It looked to just rush him a bit, going very quickly over his head. But Boyce picks up 4.
Unlucky on the part of Dre Springer. He's been good all morning.
Boyce just looks to resettle himself, forget about that edge, face the next delivery. And Springer does the same. Good delivery there from Springer. On the ball, straight at the stumps. And it brings another over to an end. 213 for 5 after 38 overs.
Yeah, good over again there by young Dre Springer. Just inducing a half chance, really, if you can call it that. Ball going to the gully region where Ralston Chase couldn't get a hand to it. It passed very close to him, and he picked up 4 in the process. Was Boyce, but this is good bowling by Springer. Like I said, he's been good all morning. He's put together a very good spell, and he looked very good.
Yes, we now have a switch over to Yui, where we see Demel Evelyn and Demario Goodman.
I think with Demario Richards, the captain.
My apologies. I was referencing Demario Goodman, who plays for Isolation.
Yes.
My apologies. Good left arm spinner, but Demario Richards, he's on 10 from 10 deliveries, and Demel Evelyn 36, so he continues his good form.
Well, Yui's picked up a bit of a lead, so that's good for them. Looks like Jamar Eiffel, Barbados fast bowler. Steaming in there to Evelyn. Partnership of 20 between Richards and Evelyn. So, like I said, a bit of a lead. It should be an interesting game this afternoon. They're looking for a result in this game as well. But here, we're back live.
Yes, we are back live as Edmund, with ball in hand, Wanderers lead by 18 runs. A good partnership building by Boyce and Lovell. He just turns that one into the leg side. Deep fielder out there, Dre Springer. We'll return it to the keeper. 1 run.
Yeah, but this is a good. Captain has allowed them to have a longer spell. Like I said, the pitch not offering any sideway movement really, much lateral movement. So the Pacers really have to put the effort in, and we saw that from Dre Springer, just inducing that outer edge. I just would like to see something of that sort as well from Jalen Edmund.
Yes, Edmund, I'd like to see him a bit more consistent. He's been on the fuller side today. Good delivery there outside line of the off stump, and that's where he'll be looking to target.
Well, that's the consistency that you need. He needs to be bowling that hard length on or about that 4th stump. Just trying to get the edge because it's such a surface, like I said, not offering much lateral movement. So you need to be creative. You need to really bend your bat and put some effort in.
Yes, Edmund, he's into a good spell so far. Bowled well yesterday, picking up 2 wickets for 51 runs. And he's currently into his 13th over. He runs into Boyce. Good delivery there. But Boyce is equal to the challenge, blocking that one, no run.
That's what you always see. This is the cricket you always see.
Yes, most definitely. It's always good to see good competitive cricket. Batsmen on the mark, bowlers on the mark. See who wins the battle. Edmund into a good over so far. Just bowling 3 dot deliveries. He will look to close out this over as a maiden. But Boyce says no. Works that one into the leg side. Gets 1 run. A good delivery nonetheless from Edmund though. Targeting the body of Boyce.
And again, it's just worrying to me why that deep backwards square leg, unless you got the intention that you're going to bowl him a short delivery, why do you have that deep backwards square? Just giving up yet another easy single.
Yes, we haven't seen the deep backward square come into play as yet. Unless he's running into 30-yard circle to retrieve the ball. Good stop there in the slips from Roston Chase. He's always good in that area. Just running to his right, getting a hand to it, stopping the single.
Yeah, just surprised you have not seen the bouncer used at all for the day. And he's had that deep backwards career and the fine like for both the Pacers really, and they've not gone to the short ball at once.
Yes, so interesting tactics here from Empire early this morning. I'm sure that they'll have reasoning for it. We may just not understand, Andy. Oh, we see the short ball being implemented now. Williams settles under it, and he takes it. The wicket goes level, falls to the short ball, and Edmund picks up his third wicket of this spell. A lovely plan, Andy.
Well, I've played a lot of cricket. Let's put it that way. So it had to come. You can't be setting that field, and the short ball doesn't come along. And Lovell said, no, getting into position, beaten for pace, and just holding out to Medon, where well-judged catch by Kobe Williams. So he's coming back to the dugout, losing their sixth wicket, really, the Wanderers. So good setup, Jaden Edmund. Good to see him picking up a third wicket, but that was long overdue.
Yes, it was always bound to happen, Andy. We knew that with the deep square and the deep fine, we expected to see a short ball, but I expected to see it a lot sooner. But Edmund had his plan set, just toiling away with that full delivery and then pulling one back to the surprise of Lovell, and he falls. Looks disappointed walking back into the pavilion. Would have loved to go all the way for his team today, get a big score, but he doesn't do so. Falling to Edmund. Kobe Williams taking the catch.
Yeah, he moved around well to his left. He had to look over his shoulder for a minute, Williams, so I thought it was a well-judged catch in the end. He's got some very long arms, and he got himself in a good position to pull off what was a good catch. So a good wicket for the Empire, the A&A Auto Parts Empire, to put themselves in a good position. There's just 4 wickets now in arrears at the Wanderers side, and the lead is just 19 runs.
Yes, and on that note, we have a bit of a look at YMPC versus Windward. Young Murray Griffith taking his mark, who would have took a 5-wicket haul yesterday, and his first 5-wicket haul for Windward in this Elite Division. He bowled so well.
Well, you know, the YMPC, the Bayview Hospital YMPC, they required 81 runs for victory, and they're 82 runs for victory. They're 40 for 1. So there seems to be very much in the ascendancy. Shamar Marshall, who's really a lower order batsman, probably sent in as a night watchman overnight. So he's on 22, and Xavier Trotman, he's on 11. So a lot of bowling to do for this young man if he's going to pull his team back.
Yes, a lot of bowling to do indeed, but it's by no means impossible. YMPC just requiring 42 runs for a victory, so I suspect that this game is going to end early today, Andy. Either Windward pull off superb performance and bowl them out cheaply, or YMPC get the runs and win the game.
And while you're on the YMPC, Dwayne Smith, the agent Smith, wishing him a happy birthday. Today being his birthday, Dwayne Smith had a good performance yesterday. Got into the runs and the wickets, so he had an early birthday present. As you see some of the spectators here at the Wanderers ground, Empire spectator.
Yes.
To see the big smile. So you think this team is really in the ascendancy as well.
Yes, Andy, I'll tell you why he did have that big smile, though. That spectator actually is the father of Jaden Yard, who would have taken 7 for 41 on day 1. So I'm sure that he has a lot to smile about as we see young Dre Springer.
That's runs. That is runs.
Just a clip off of the legs from Boyce, and it goes all the way into the boundary for 4. Just pure timing, not a lot of power on that occasion, and it beats the fielders into the boundary for 4 runs.
I tell you, this is excellent batting by Ian Boyce, though. Like, he's really positioned himself, set himself out. He's really set his camp out. He looks toward to go big. Lost his cap in the process, but from seeing him back yesterday, this man Ian Boyce says he's camped out. He's looking for a big score.
Yes, Boyce, he's looked in good touch all yesterday and all today. I'm sure he'll be looking to reach the half century. Just turning that one down to the mid-on fielder. A change in field though, Andy. We now saw after that shot a deep mid-wicket being implemented. That's Kofi Hurdle who went down on the boundary.
Well, he went to the boundary 4. I'm sure he'll be coming in for the new batter in Jordan Nells. I don't think they will start with a man at deep mid-wicket for him. I know he checks to get on with it. but I would think that they don't want to give him easy runs. Make him work for his runs.
Yes, Jordan Nells. An exciting batter known predominantly for his bowling, but I always enjoy seeing him bat. He just comes and flies the kite, hits the ball a long way, and he did so last inning, scoring quick runs in the tail for Wanderers. So let's see what he does today.
Well, as we said, it might not happen, but yes, it's happening. As you see Kofi Hurdle being ushered out to that deep mid-wicket position before the slip. Kevin Stout, he comes out of the slip region into short mid-wicket, and Rawson Chase from gully, he's gone to a short third man.
Yes, so the field is
more
spread.
like a fly slip.
Yeah, so the field is spread immediately. They know what to expect from Nells. Springer makes his way in. Short delivery, and he squares him up, and it goes down to the deep point region. 1 run.
Like I said, these tactics continues to baffle me. Batter come in, not face 1 deliveries yet, and you set everyone out on the boundary for him. And a good delivery there by Jerry Springer. It's parry that one where probably a gully would have been and getting the easy single.
Yes, and it brings Boyce back into strike. 39 from 62 deliveries is Boyce building an innings here. Wanderers taking their lead up to 20 runs. Just driving that one out to cover. Edmund does well, no run.
Yeah, Boyce continues to be solid. He's on 43. But he looks a real figure out there. He's looked to be well set for a big score. Just lost his captain, Lovell. So it just means that someone like Nells will have to spend some time with him. He doesn't look bothered, really, this young man, Ian Boyce.
Yes, he just looks to have a lot of time, and he just timing the ball so nicely. He looks easy on the eye. Nothing has challenged him so far for this inning, so I'm sure that he'll be looking to go on and get a big score today. Short ball being implemented by Springer, but Boyce on top of that one, controlling it. Oh, and there's a misfield from Jaden Yard, allowing them to just settle for 1. They opt not to come back for the second run, so he didn't have to pay for the misfield.
Well, yeah, he was just ambling that one because, like you said, he pulled it down, and it was really trickling to the deep backward square. You would not expect him to misfield that. But again, taking his eye off the ball, and the ball went through. But again, Boyce, he had already settled for the 1 from the time he played the shot.
Yes, and it brings Nells back into strike. Field is spread once again. Empire will be expecting that big shot, possibly looking to get him caught on the boundary. Big swing there from Nells, but he doesn't connect. Closes out another over. 222 for the loss of 6.
Yeah, 222 for 6, and they're trailed by they lead by some 27 runs, the Wanderers. But any other parts, Empire, like, you know, the intentions of Jordan Nells are going to be clear. He will want to clear the boundaries. You've seen him placing some 4 feeders on the leg side boundary for Nells, who've only faced 2 deliveries, and you saw that second delivery, a big swing and a miss.
Yes, Nells, he comes to bat one way and one way only, just eyeing that leg side, aiming to hit it a long way out of the park, but he didn't connect on that occasion. 40 overs have been bowled for this inning so far, Andy. 222 for 6. Wanderers lead by 27 runs. Ian Boyce, the set batsman, on 45 from 66 deliveries. Jordan Nells, new batsman to the crease, just 1 run so far.
And Jaden Edmund to continue, like we said, an extended spell after picking up the wicket of the captain, Jared Lovell, in the previous over. I think it's good to see the Pacers getting a long spell on this kind of placid surface. I think the spinners will be the one really coming to the fore, but like I said, a good lead, so it really allows for the Pacers to get themselves a good spell.
Boyce just tapping that one down to the third man region. Picked up a single. Brings Nells back into strike to face Edmund for the first time. We see the fielders going back out onto the boundary. Deep square, deep fine. Long on, long off. But the long off has not gone down yet. He looks to be making his way back. And a deep cover fielder. Well, they've kept in the long off. He looked to be making his way back. That was Kofi Hurdle, but he stayed on 30-yard circle. So just the long on fielder goes out. Edmund makes his way in. Not level, my apologies. Nells just tapping that one down to the point fielder once again. Another single.
Yeah, just tried on the short ball, but that one really just ballooned. So just good enough to get on top of it, play it down to point, pick up another single. But like I said, the tactics are still a bit unclear. You need them to get going, but you need also to be in position to pick up a wicket.
Yes, most definitely. Ian Boyce on 46 runs, well within one hit of a 50. He'd be looking to reach that first milestone. Considers the run, but Nells not interested. Boyce looks to be a runner. He's always up on his toes looking to run singles, and we saw him and Lovell get into a bit of trouble with it earlier.
Well, he shows his intent. He's got that clear intent that he wants to get off strike, which is good batsmanship again. You're looking for every opportunity to score that you can, and that's what Boyce has been doing.
Yes, it's always good to see when a batsman wants to run runs and not just stand up and hit boundaries, so I love to see that from Boyce. He's a fit guy. Bowled a long spell yesterday, and now he's coming to stand up for his team with the bat, so that lets you know his physical capabilities. Just doing some gardening now, perhaps pitch cracking up a bit more. And I expect to see a lot more of that, Andy, as the day goes on.
Yes, it's a 2-day pitch, so you could expect that to happen. It's into the second day, no preparation overnight, like you said earlier today. So you expect to get those kind of cracks coming through.
Yes, Edmund making his way into Boyce. Lovely drive, but Hurdle does well. No run. Hurdle just down stopping that one. He looks agile in the field.
Yeah, another delivery hit in the middle of the bat of Ian Boyce. He's been solid all innings.
Yes. I wouldn't want to be the middle of his bat, Andy. Everything just hitting there consistently. Just looks good all morning. Just up on his toes, blocking that one once again.
Oh, this is excellent batting. This is what you come to see. You've seen quite a lot of boundaries being scored in this game, and you also saw this astuteness of the batter in Ian Boyce. Just like I said, set, looking for a big score, not giving any chances. He looks so solid.
Yes, he does look very, very solid. And when batters get starts like these, there's just one goal in mind: to go on and bat as long as possible as you can for the team. And I'm sure that Boyce will want to do that for his side today.
Slow delivery.
Yes, Edmund implementing a bit of variation now. Slower delivery. Perhaps he just rolled the wrist on that one a bit. And it brings another over to an end. 224 for 6.
Yeah, a good variation there by Jaden Edmund. He's picked up some 3 wickets for 55 from his 14. I just saw him just using that slow delivery to good effect. Just had Boyce a bit early on the front foot. Did well to keep it down as short mid-wicket was lurking coming in to look for a catch. But good batting there by Ian Boyce again, who continues to be solid. He looks really good. He looks, like I said, all set for a good total. And he looks, hope he can carry on.
Yes, and we peek back over at Windward, where Shamar Marshall is building an innings of 28 from 37. He's a left-arm spinner, but he's showing his performance with the bat here today alongside Xavier Trotman. And YMPC just required 26 runs for the victory now.
And Griffith continues, like you said, just toiling away. Would like to pick up a wicket here for his team. But Marshall, he's been in the way.
Big full toss there and a big swing from Marshall, but he misses that one. Looks disappointed with himself. But he lives to see another day.
Yeah, you should have kept some bat onto that one. Like I said, Shamar Marshall, a lower order batter. I'm definitely sure he came in as a night watchman overnight, but doing well enough with the bat for his team. He's on 28 not out. He's no slouch for the bat, really. I've seen him play.
Yes, we're back here at Darrow's Road now, where we see the first sign of spin for the day. That's Shaquem John Ruck, left-arm orthodox bowler. And you have a ball to Jordan Nells.
Yeah, he just had 2 overs yesterday in the innings late into the day. He went for some 16 runs. You see him ball into Nells, who's very aggressive, so it'll be interested to see how Nells goes about this.
Nells gets on the back foot and cuts it straight to the fielder, though. Seeley does well. I expect to see Nells attacking this bowler. We know that John Rutt bowls a fairly slow delivery that can potentially deceive batsmen, but I know that Nells will go after it. He's just that sort of batter. Cuts that one again. Seeley does well once again. Seeley busy in the cover region.
Shaquem John Rutt, like I said, he would like to get a few overs on his belt. Just needs to get a wicket to really gather his confidence. Does his confidence well. Didn't get any of the first innings.
A rare front defense there from Jordan Nells.
Like you said, a player transferring from the Yorkshire. Like you will walk to get his first wicket for Empire.
Big swing. But Nells just gets one run down to the mid-wicket fielder.
Yeah, really losing his shit with that shot. It's Jordan Nells. He said you could see him picking up that bat with a big bat lift. Wants to get this one somewhere in the road. But void of pace, really. And he got himself in a little bit of trouble. But good enough to get a single.
Yes. Brings Boyce back in strike. Boyce just stroking out. Seeley looks good. Nothing has beat him there at the cover region so far for the morning. He's busy. Boyce just stroking that one down to the long off fielder. That's Roston Chase. Does well. He'll pick up yet another single. And it brings the 42nd over to an end. 226 for 6.
Shaquem John Rutt, he'd be happy with that start to his innings, to his spell, really. 3 overs for 18, just conceded 2 runs in that over. Even bowled a couple of nice deliveries to the very powerful Jordan Nells, who's looked set and wants to get after him. But he was good enough to just concede 2 runs in that over.
Yes, and we see now Edmund going back to his mark to continue his long spell. He's bowled long spells in this game, and it's something that we've seen from the Pacers. We saw Dre Springer bowling a long spell in the first innings. Edmund has bowled a long spell, and he looks to continue doing so. So the Pacers look to be fit, and I hope to see them continue this way throughout the entire season, Andy.
Yeah, well, Edmund, he's done better as the game has gone on. Like you said, started a bit rusty on the first day, on the first innings, but bowled a good spell yesterday and came back here this morning, and he really looked the part. Like I said, to pull his length back in the first innings, he was a bit too full, really. And I think that's to his success. He's picked up some 3 wickets in this innings.
Yes, Edmund, he's looked good. He'll look to now get the big wicket of Boyce. I'm sure that Empire will be targeting Boyce because he's the set batsman. Good delivery from Edmund. Good length.
And like you said, he's gotten better over day 2. And now day 3, he's just showing that he's really the class that he can be. Good enough to have played at the first class level, like you said, in 2025. So you just want to get his workload going. And as you said, as this spell has progressed, he continues to impress.
Yes, he's continued to impress all morning. Just bowling on a consistent line and length. We now saw him bowl a back of a length delivery at Boyce. Just in that uncomfortable area around the ribs. He now comes in again. Full delivery. Driven firmly back to Edmund. No run. Boyce just 3 runs away from his first half century of this BCA season. Wanderers now taking their lead up to 31 runs, Andy.
Well, yes, that's it. They just need to stay there and keep grafting, eking out runs, really. And they need partnerships to do it.
Yes. Boyce will look to lead this partnership. Quick single there. And they get there safely.
Yeah, early call and well responded there by Nells. So Boyce picking up another quick single. Kobe Williams couldn't prevent that. From the time he hit it, he was off for the run. And he got a good response from the non-striker Nells.
Yes, Nells. Guy who likes to run. He's a busy guy between the wickets as well. So I'm sure that this partnership between him and Boyce will be a good one. Boyce just looks busy between the wickets all morning.
So it seems like the tactic has changed a bit.
Yes.
She shows that third man in the previous over from Edmund when Nells came on strike. You see, oh, actually, yes, he's now looking to go back to that third man position.
Yes, the field now spreading. Deep fine, deep square, long on. Deep point. Chase going into a fly slip position. Edmund makes his way into Nells. Another slower delivery. But Nells picks it up and just punches it into the offside. Picks up another single, bringing Boyce back into strike.
Yeah, good change of pace again there by Edmund. As we said, Nells, who looks to be aggressive, and he will be aggressive, but this time he just rolled his wrist over that one, and so rolled the fingers over that one, and Lloyd to just play that one quietly into the offside was Nells. He didn't go for the attacking shot on that occasion.
Yes, Nells, he's playing very watchful this morning. Boyce on 48, facing up to Edmund. Full delivery, capped out, but Nells calls in for the single, and they complete another single. Good call from Nells.
Well, just trying to get Boyce closer to that 50 mark. So good enough that he responded. Full delivery by Edmund into the block hole and hitting the inner part of the bat and just squeezes it out to mid-wicket where substitute Roach. He couldn't prevent that single.
Yes, and Edmund just one delivery to go in this over, just picking up 3 runs. Nells just on the back foot, punching that one out to the deep point fielder. Another single, and it brings the over to an end. 230 for 6.
Yeah, smart batting by Nells, Jordan Nells. Like I said, the field set and spread wide and far, and every occasion he just picks up the single, rotate the strike. So this is good batting, really. Not taking on the deep fielders and just picking up the singles in the process.
Yes, and we now have a look back over to Pickwick, where the BCA youth required 253 runs for a victory, and DeMarco Wiggins and Isaiah Goodman are currently the opening batsmen, and Jatario Prescott with ball in hand.
Yeah, so just come to the first hour's play, really, like you said, and Jatario Prescott there, ball into Wiggins. Just they need to get a total, I'll get that total for you in a minute, but they're 10 for no loss, and Wiggins, they require 253 for victory. Wiggins and Goodman, they will want to get a good start for the team.
Yes.
Prescott, a fast bowler. Good to see these two. And Smith, Renico Smith, is interested to bowl this over. So Prescott and Smith, 2 young, promising fast bowlers for the ESCFE Pickwick team.
Yes, and DeMarco Wiggins, very talented young left-arm batsman. We're back over at Darrell's Road now, where Nells would have just struck one down to long off. Picked up another single, brings Boyce back on strike. Boyce needing just 1 run to reach this half century.
Well, the umpire team, the field is set pretty wide, deep, so he's got lots of singles in the outfield. So I'm sure that he'd be just intent on picking up a single to bring out this 50.
Just blocking that one. Boyce, he's been very watchful in his 40s, not looking to take many risks. Just wanting to get to that half century. Just 1 run needed. Back on the back foot, and he punches it. A well-played innings to Ian Boyce, bringing up his first half century of this BCA season. An innings of true maturity, an innings of true character. He's played well, and he's deserved it, Andy. What did you make of that innings?
A very well put together innings, like you said. Came yesterday afternoon. He looked very solid late into the evening, going overnight, not out, and coming back here this morning and really putting his head down, showing that application to bring out the half century.
Yes, a lovely stroke down to long off now. Jordan Nells, he looks good. But Boyce, as you said, a lovely innings indeed. He's played with true maturity, just leading his team. Faced 50 balls, 79 balls, my apologies. 79 balls for his 50. So he played well. Just on front foot, blocking that one. John Ruck is the bowler. The current partnership is 18 runs from 29 deliveries. Nells contributing 7. And another over comes to an end. 233 for 6.
Yeah, like you said, this one should probably summons the drinks break. So a good session really for the Empire side, picking up the wicket of the captain and Lovell. But Boyce squaring up his half century in the session as well. And, you know, just moving the team along for the lead. So, yeah, so 38 the lead for the good of the Wanderers side. But they need someone to stick around to bat with Ian Boyce. Boyce who carries his bat for 50 from 81 deliveries. And that lead of 38, John Rutt, now coming to the attack. And he's been pretty quiet in this spell so far. I remember he was 2 overs for 18 runs yesterday. And that's conceding just a couple runs in his first 2 overs. So if you go back over to the Field Pitwick ground, where you see this Signia Globe Youth trying to get up to 282, a short delivery there from Smith, and getting into all kind of trouble is Isaiah Goodman. I just see the signal is worn over the batter's shoulder, as I'm going to be joined by Lyndon Yard. He's going to be replaced Rashawn Hackett, who's going to make an exit for a bit. And remember, at the Wanderers ground there's a bit of a drinks break. So here we are at the ESA Field Pitwick. Barbados Financial Signature Globe Financial BCA Youth requires some 246 more runs if they're going to lift this one. 17 for no loss. Smith said promising fastball is sure it's worth for that bounce a bit earlier. Again, delivery tucked into the leg side by Goodman. Come looking for a second, but not on. So commentary tell you continues to go live on the stream. Bell Imagery in collaboration with the Barbados Cricket Association just continues to bring good commentary here via the live stream. Just scoring at some 3.6. The Signia Globe Financial by BCA Youth. Smith now conceding 3 overs, none for 11. Wiggins, he's on 7, and Isaiah Goodman, he's on 8. Special good afternoon to Lyndon the Boogeyman Yard. He's just going to join me for the first time today. Good work by the young Rashawn Hackett, who we entrusted to do some homework over the last night. He didn't know who was Richard Prof Edwards Lyndon. So very good afternoon to you. A man who doesn't need the introduction. He knows all the work. Continue at the Pitwick ground with Jatario Prescott. He's the other opening bowler, joining Renika Smith. Good afternoon, Lyndon.
Yes, good afternoon to you, Andy. Good afternoon to listeners and viewers to the stream. And in pretty good cricketing condition, depending on where the conditions are. A little cloudy, but no threat of rain. Bit of sunshine here or there. Lots of grey clouds and a cooler breeze. That's the most important part, a cool breeze. So a nice day for cricket. A day that you will welcome, and you would have to say, based on the exchanges so far, Wanderers, they're not quite out of the woods. They have erased the deficit of 195, but they have lost 1 wicket in the process, and it all depends on this pair. We know that young Nells likes to fancy himself as a dasher, and sometimes his indiscretion will be his own downfall, but his team needs him to stay there. Boyce looks good, and I think that he's the type of player that once he settles in, he can do what he's done so far for Wanderers, whether being asked to do it with the ball, with the bat, in the field. This is a perfect opportunity. I always give full credit to the Wanderers creators here at the Wanderers ground. It's always a batting paradise, and though I wasn't here yesterday, and I heard that the lead was a big lead that the Empire side had, I think that the Wanderers side were definitely not out of it based on the fact that the pitch at the Pain is usually a good wicket even over 3 days.
Yeah, Lyndon. So we continue to be here at the Pitwick ground with the Marco Wiggins, the captain of the Signia Globe Financial Barbados Youth. His team is chasing a massive total. 19 for no loss, still require 244 more runs if his team is going to pull this one off. But knowing that the young boys, I'm sure they'll look to battle the evening and really try to even to draw it if they can't win it. So Pitwick bowlers will have a big task on their hand. Prescott, he's into his third over, just conceded 7 runs. Captain Wiggins, like we said, on 7. Goodman, he's on 9. And then we're going to get back to the main story here at the Wanderers ground, where you were rightfully speaking about what you heard transpire yesterday and what you've seen happening here today. It looks like young Kobe Williams, the off spinner, replaced Jaden Edmond from that, the Richard Prof Edwards in. Edmond, he had an excellent spell, a long spell. He just picked up the wicket of Captain Gerard Lovell, but now he's given away to the off spinner.
Yes, 233 for the loss of 6 in 44 overs. And they lead by a slender 38. It's not a good lead at this stage, so this pair would need to continue to bat. Boyce has 50s, batted some 81 deliveries. With him is Nells on 7. And like I said, the Wanderers side would like to get themselves into a good position. And like I was saying since last weekend and in the opening day, that Wanderers was one of these teams that traditionally over the years they have always been comfortable to play for it. That 3 and 1 point, and not the 8 point. And there's a bit of an unfortunate bounce, but you could say a good bounce in the end for self-preservation, as the ball just bounced and lobbed over the head of Ralston Chase, who's patrolling in that cover region. Prevention is better than cure, and you would rather the ball bounce and lob over his head like it did, and the batsman capitalized on 1 rather than the ball just shooting off at him.
Now, one thing we say that Chase, he found himself in all positions for the day. He started at the second slip, he get to the gully, you see him that third man, you see him that long off, and now you see him patrolling the covers.
Which is an unusual sight for any West Indies captain in any form of cricket. But I guess it goes to show that he's prepared to just sit back and relax and enjoy what is thrown at him. And the young captain Seeley, obviously, just putting players that we think into position, because I was a little surprised moments ago to see him at the long off position. Now he finds himself at the short cover position. These are fields that he would normally not be seen at the international level, but it's good to see that he's flexible to do whatever his captain requires.
Well, Seeley, he's off the field presently, so it probably is Chase who's taking charge of things. You see the substitute in Roach, he's there at mid-wicket, so must be Chase, like he said himself, just doing that work. You see him asking Kofi Hurdle to come in off that long off boundary into a mid-off position.
Swing and a miss by Nells, who would need to play the sheet anchor role here, but his nature of playing is to be on the aggressive side and the pain. And one would think that he's either going to get or get out. He's going to go down fighting. And it just needs some readjustment here. Swings this one or swats it down over square leg and all the way for 6. Down is these almost like Boyce the man in a half tracker really, and picking up his first maximum, and with that maximum he's up to 15 from 17 deliveries. This is the type of player that he is, and Wanderers there are 241 for 6 in their second innings, having faced some 45 overs.
Yeah, well, Williams, they say the off spinner, just swinging with the spin to say Jordan Nells, giving it flighted and moving to the leg side, and he got into a position where he was able to sweep that one over the square leg boundary, and a long way over there the netting is. You know, we got the practice pitches in that area, and he hit that one well over the practice pitches for a maximum. His first 6 of the innings, like you said, Jordan Nells, he would go down swinging.
And figures of Kobe Williams, 7 overs, and he's picked up 1 for 57 on a docile pitch here at Wanderers. As another airplane makes its way to the GIA, the Granby Adams International Airport. Shaquem John Rock to continue. And this one by Boyce is worked for his 51st run. He's faced some 82 deliveries.
And no ball as well.
No ball signaled by umpire Kareem Tate, who's doing duty with umpire Leon Lane. Similarly built. You would say that Tate may be fractionally
teacher by profession. Tate.
Very well. Lane formerly fancied himself as a gymnast. He doesn't, not so sure he does a lot of gym these days, but remember in his playing days, high in the air, chance for a catch. The fielder comes across and takes a simple catch, and a very, very disappointing way for for Nells to go. But if you know the nature of the man, he was going to go down fighting, and Andy Payne, that fight never lasted long. He's gone for 15, and the Wanderers in further trouble, you have to say no, at 241 for the loss of 7.
Yeah, further trouble indeed. But this man, Shaquem John Rock, picking up his first wicket for the Empire side, the A&A Auto Parts Empire team. You know, he would have just transferred over from the Yorkshire side, but deceiving his man with a slow delivery, and he didn't get close enough to that one on that occasion, Jordan Nells, and just hitting off the bottom of the bat, and a comfortable catch down to Lawan by Dre Springer. So another Wanderers wicket goes. The lead is just some 48 runs, a slender 48 runs, Linden Yard, and there's just only 3 more wickets in the hatch.
Suspect we could have an early afternoon on the Payne.
Seems that way. Well, cricket, game of glorious uncertainties. Ian Boyce, he continues to be there on 51, so he's batted well, but he needs the lower order to really stick around with him as the new batter is past a million.
Well, Jordan walks back, very disappointed, dejectedly slow as well. And I would tend to think the only reason he could be disappointed that he didn't hit the full toss out of the ground. Otherwise, he should have stayed at the crease, because really he had the options to try and hit it out of the ground, which he attempted to, and made a meal of it, getting it maybe 10 meters in front of the rope at deep mid wicket or cold corner. Or the option is stroking the ball up to long off or long on. He had options available to him, and he chose to take the option that we know he will want to take best, which is to carry the fight. And that fight didn't last long, and the fight has left Wanderers in more trouble. They're eyeing defeat. 48 runs is the lead, and A&A Auto Parts and Accessories Empire, they're in total control here at Bank Hall, and some pressure is being applied now by Captain Chase. It's brought the square leg off the boundary into the conventional square leg position. Rock looks for a second wicket, and standing tall on the back foot is Pius Emilian, and plays the ball out to Yard, who tosses it from cover to mid-off, where Chase, the captain, is the acting captain, is feeling, and bowled him. It's gone right through him. Pius Emilian playing the wrong line, playing down centre and leg. The off stump has been pushed back, and the Payne.
As we see on the replay, Linden Yard, you see playing down the wrong line. Left-handed batter is Emilian. You see that one beating him on the outer edge and cannon into the middle and off stump Linden Yard. So yeah, another wicket for the Wanderers.
And prevention is always better than cure. And the Payne, you see, when you're gonna play forward, you should always have a good defense. There was no defense there whatsoever. The gate was open, and furthermore than the gate is being open, because when he played forward, you could still see centre and leg. So he played the wrong line definitely, and the ball just kept on with the arm, just hit the off stump. Really a sad sight to see. But having said that, Wanderers, they are going slipping and sliding quickly. 248 for the loss of 8. Haven't had a good partnership to start the day before Young Lovell was dismissed, and now in quick succession in the space of 3 deliveries on the Payne.
That's correct.
We've seen 2 wickets, and the crowd today very small in comparison to last Saturday.
Yeah, sure. Today is Sunday. They're not leaving their Sunday meal.
I had to leave mine.
So the crowd from spectators probably making sure to get their Sunday goodies before they find their way here at the House Road. Just a sprinkling there, Kipling Ward.
Call it a sprinkling, and I think I can go to the spectators
on
one hand.
These couple of Empire men here, very good. Clark is there. Kipling Ward, like you said, full Empire spectators.
No wonder supporters, Andy Payne.
That's where the food is.
No, that's where the food is. So, it's 243 for a loss of 8. The new batsman is Kyron King, not known for his batting, Andy Payne. This is an opportunity for him to put his hand up as well. He waits on his first delivery, and he strides forward and knocks it back to the bowler along the carpet. Another airplane. Plane number 2 makes its way to the GI air since I've been on air, so I'm going to count planes per wicket. So we're 2 for 2, Andy Payne.
Yeah. Which one do you think we'll get first? More planes or more wickets?
I will hope for cricketing's sake that we will get more planes than wickets. That one is spinning right across him. Taken by the keeper, Albert behind the stump. So slip in position, forward short leg, square leg, straightish mid wicket, deep mid wicket, mid off cover. Back to the bowler. Is that attempted forcing drive. And the end of a wicket taken over for Shaquem John Rock.
Well, he had a double wicket, Lyndon.
Samurai scores Wanderers 176 in their first innings. And presently 243 for 8 in response. Any other parts and accessories, Empire 371 for 9, a massive total, with Kofi Hurdle scoring 108, having faced some 96 deliveries, 9 sixes and 8 fours, Andy Payne in the only last week. In the conversation with young Rashawn Hackett, I would have lamented the fact that the Wanderers pitch is always good for batting, but we don't get a lot of centuries at this ground, and Kofi Hurdle answered the call. He did have his chances. I happened to hear one or two while I was elsewhere about a couple of chances he had, but you know, a batsman doesn't drop himself, and they drop at 24 and 61, so he obviously made the Wanderers side paid dividends for that with 108. Congratulations to the young man on his 100. I call him young man, but he's been around for quite some time. I think in cricketing terms, Andy Payne, 10 years, you deserve pension.
He's well a veteran. He's a veteran.
This delivery from Williams is pushed through to the offside by Boyce. Andy Payne, as a senior pro, what does Boyce do here? Does he shelter the lower order, or does he try to get as much as he can get?
Well, that's a good question, because first of all, you got to know the capabilities of Kyron King. Coming at number 10, I'm not sure. Batting after what we saw from Pius Million, I don't think you would classify him as that much of a batter. So, like you rightly said, he might need to try to score here, Ian Boyce, and probably farm the bowling as much as he could. Well,
he's not going to do that. And he strokes this one up to Kofi Hurdle, who finds himself patrolling the long off position, and he takes the single, and that is only delivery number 2. So if the order was to farm the bowling, obviously he could have refused that single, turn it down, but he's chosen to expose Kyron King, who's faced some 3 deliveries.
Well, that would have been my method, not your voices.
So Wanderers with a lead of 49, 244 for the loss of 8 over number 47 in progress, and it's being bowled by Kobe Williams, operating from the Prof Edwards end, still opting to go around the wicket, and King allows it to go by the left-handed batsman. There's been a lot of talk, Andy Payne, about batter and batsman.
Yeah, we know.
What's your take? I stick with a batsman. A man playing cricket is a batsman.
You're very old school, Lyndon. So traditionalist.
I believe it. A woman playing cricket, I'm comfortable and confident to use the word batter.
There you go.
Here is Williams. Bowls an off break that spins from off to further outside off, and Kyron King playing down the line, and the ball just spinning past the bat through to the keeper. Struck on the pad, the P for leg before, and in typical Leon Lane fashion, he gives out Kyron King, having kicked that delivery. He's going to kick his way back to the pavilion. Wanderers from a position of 244 for 8, now 244 for 9. The visual of Kyron King is equally as short as that visual of a Pius Emilian. He's gone for duck as well. And the end, Andy Payne on a beautiful Sunday in Barbados, like the end of a service, is definitely beckoning.
Yeah, I could tell you, like I said, he really misread that one of this Kyron King, and just losing his wicket in the process, Lyndon. I can tell you, one other batter will not be able to bat because overnight, Shim Watson, he retired hurt. It seems that he carried a bit of a knee injury. So with that, that's the end of the innings for the Wanderers side. The Wanderers side is leading by some 49 runs. But the Empire side, I think they've got 50 to lift this first victory. But good bowling there by the off-spinner Kobe Williams, like you said, just keeping his man on the front foot. And misjudging that one was Kyron King, and well adjudged like before to the bowler and Leon Lane, like you rightly said, raising that dreaded finger. So the innings come to a close. Wanderers at 244 with that man Shim Watson not being required after retiring hurt yesterday. So Empire required 50 runs to win Linden Yard in excellent batting conditions here at the Dalles Road. Like I said, very disappointed.
Oh yes. The Capitulation of the lower order will be something that will concern Coach Ricky Clark definitely and his captain when they do the post-mortem. I expect them to go down. I'm going to call the spade now because this pitch is usually a good wicket. It is still a good pitch. And like I said, I expect the Empire team to steamroll to victory here. And also looking for a victory up at the actually Bayview Hospital YMPC. Have gotten the first victory of the season when they steamroll the Windward's team by some 9 wickets. And that was a very disappointing way for the Windward side to start the season in good cricketing conditions and to be steamrolled by 9 wickets by YMPC. It's a good start to the guys from the Bayland, and it's also going to be a good start for the guys from Bank Hall, as they would need some just 50 runs to win this encounter against the Wanderers side. And 2 days and 1 hour, and the first result of the season, and it does not bode well for the standard of cricket, in my opinion. I'm using the pitches as an example. I'm using the conditions from outside where I can tell you that Andy, I will venture to put that on the air, Andy Payne. We'll keep that between us because we did have this discussion from day one. What could happen in the season, and here's the perfect example at Windward, where the game finishes within 2 days and less than a session, and here is the Wanderers game, also likely to finish within 2 days. Maybe we'll get 1 session. Let's go into the second session with an hour available. But I can say in terms of this game that I alluded to the fact that the batsman, the not batsman Ian Boyce, and the opinion could have or should have taken the initiative, given the fact that he knew that I'm going to assume he was aware of the situation with Shem Watson. So he's going to be a batsman short. One of his better batters going to be short. He was obviously batting with the tail, and I said it was a situation whether does he expose the tail or does he look to get quick runs. And I think I would personally give him some stick here because I think that he should have realized you have Jordan Nells, not known for his batting. He's just going to throw his bat around. Get or don't get, that's a hit and miss. If it comes off, it's good. It's good for the team. If it doesn't comes off, then it means the team's in more trouble. Kyron King is not known for his batting. Pius Emilian is not known for his batting as well. Maybe he can get a 15, maybe he can get a 20, but that's a big maybe, all in capital letters. And the last man dismissed.
Yeah, like I said, I thought he was looking to farm the strike. So when you saw him give up the single in ball number 2 at the over, I thought it was a bit of a. I don't understand the ploy, pretty much. Like I said, he's the man set. You know he's going to miss in Watson, and you want to push it as deep as you can. And I want to be inclined to do the majority of the batting. And slow bowlers, the field is well set, so you want to just bat some balls and ask them to bring in the feeders, and then you can try to go over the top. But giving up the single in ball number 2, really, it just exposed your tail, like you said, to the Empire side to really run through it in the end.
And not really what you want to see in our top flight cricket, Andy Payne, where at the start of day 3, you have 1 victory having been completed, and within the next, say, I'm going to give them maybe 20 overs to get 50 runs. They don't need that really. And let's go to this game at the UWI on the screen, where the UWI, that's a very interesting game, where the UWI were bowled over 157. In response, the Gladiola side made 207, a lead of 66, and 116 for 4 overnight. UWI, and they were 126 for 5 earlier, with Demel Evelyn having resumed his innings. He retired overnight on 28. So it'd be interesting to see what's the position with that game. So it looks as though, Andy P, we could very well have at least 3 outright results, because I suspect that at the KFL ground where we are on stream now, that there would be, and there very well can be, a result in that game as well.
Yes, just chasing some 106 runs for victory, 107 runs for victory. Just superb blend Gladiola side up against the University of the West Indies. This game looks destined definitely headed for a result as well, Linden Yard.
You want to call it? I realize you're iffing. It's headed for a result, but you're not prepared to say it. UW in the second innings were dismissed for 156. Demel Evening, who resumed third 28 not out overnight. He went on to make 36, and I suspect that would have been the top score. Yes, it was 32 from Shakir Paris, who was also not out 26 overnight, so he did not add a lot either. And then Kyle Jordan was dismissed yesterday for 30. And tomorrow's the end. The Mario Richards, the keeper, chipped him 21 as the UWI innings folded in second innings for 156 off 39.3 overs. Again, here is the problem again, where this pitch, without being there, traditionally is usually a good batting strip. Whichever strip they use, good for batting. You can get a little life early, but it's usually a good batting strip. And the UWI side, the home side, only batting 39.3 overs. And again, the wickets being shared by the Gladiolas bowlers. Matthew Jones, the captain, picked up 3 for 12 from 6 overs, 1 maiden. Stefan Griffith, who I have a lot of time for. I fancy him reminds me a lot of Kirk Liambo's long and languid. And a very good guy. 10 overs, 2 maidens, 3 for 45. Jaden Lord, a pacer who I picked 2 years ago as one for the future, but he reminds me a lot of Kenneth Benjamin and Winston Benjamin, sorry, just as matter how he feels on the particular day. But I think he has some gas about him. He is wary, he's slim, he's tall, has the pace. 8.3 overs, no maidens, 2 for 30. Good to see him among the wickets. And like you said, Andy Payne, they have a simple target of 106 for victory. Remember, UW in the first innings only batted 44.3 overs in scoring 157. So we're looking at 3 defeats in the opening round of games. The game at Map Hill, Dash Valley's correct turn. Very interestingly positioned.
Defending champions,
where Wildy made a miraculous recovery from 96 for 6 to get up to 300 and change.
Akeem Jordan, what century?
111. Neymar Bolden once again missing out for the 3rd time on his home ground.
Yeah, he's got a few 90s.
3 90s now, 2 last year, and now 1 yesterday. So you got to cash in basically. But at the time Andy Payne when the BCA have introduced playing the players.
Payment of players
per game. And we're going to have 3 games ended quite early today, or 2 today.
Yeah, so Gladiola 5 for no loss, like you said, trying to get up to that 106 for victory. Still, young Shamari Gittins, another good player for in the future.
Yeah.
Quite a few of the Gittins brothers played over there at Rice's. One at Lodge School, still very much there. The brothers, well set.
Well, they'll have to just bat easy. There's nothing really, no terror in the pitch more than likely. And, it's a good day. The pitch, the outfield is similar to the ones here at Wanderers. And I think most of the grounds around Barbados are beginning to be a little parched, devoid of water. The country has been somewhat dry. The sprinkler rain here and there is just not enough. But noticeably, in utilizing some of these venues, we don't see those big cracks, which means that there's been some water in and out, and that's a good sign, because usually in the month of May, then the earth starts to open up when we lack water going into just before the beginning of the hurricane season. That's not the case, but the situation where it is worrying for me, in my opinion, that we're going to have, and this is really unusual in your time and my time, Andy Payne. I think going back, if we go back, we would think that the only team likely to have been beaten early in the season would have been Combined Schools North and South.
Yes.
And it depends on which side that they happen to pull early in the season.
Yeah.
Because there are some other sides that they will earn a draw.
Yeah.
Simply because those sides were not aggressive sides. Those sides were not the better sides. They had their balance, but they lacked that killer instinct. So, namely, if you have Police, St. Catherine's, just to name a few, once those guys pull the schools early, they're going to beat you.
Yeah,
There's no 2 ways about that.
Outright victories were no easy feats in the first couple of rounds back in the time when we played Linden. So like you said, seeing some results in this first round when the pitchers are really at the best. And
They covered,
yes, and the outfields. I mean, it's all set up for runs really to see. But being defeated in the early rounds, the early exchanges, it was very rare to really get results in those early games.
Yeah, and it's also important back then to get as many points as you can get. Remember, it was only 8, 3, and 1. So 8 for the victory, 3 for first innings, and 1 if you earned the draw. But it was critical to get those early points, especially if you had, and I'm going to call them, I know I'm going to get some stick for them, but this is how it played at YMPC. You're going to call your points early. Schools, that's your points. Carlton was your points. Pickwick was your points. Wonders was your points. Not that they were easily defeated, but the fact that those teams generally were more content to play for 3 points rather than looking for 8. Of course, when you come up against the mighty Empire, Police, St. Catherine's, you know you're going to be backs against the wall, because those teams coming at you at all costs looking for full points, maximum points, which was 8 points. And back then, the wickets, the pitches weren't covered on those occasions, Andy Payne. And on a given day, where we have the cloud coverage that we have now getting a little darker, I would say, but still a nice breeze. No threat of rain that could help the Wanderers side at the moment. But going back to then, when the pitches weren't covered, you would have a rain game. It would probably start maybe 3:45, 3:30. Plenty of sawdust at either end. Forward short leg sitting it off, leg gully, 2 slips in position, and only one bowler is going to get 6 or 7. You could go around the country and you could name those bowlers who will get 6 or 7 on that day.
Yes.
But the team batting will still get at least 160, 180 and be comfortable with it.
Yeah, that's correct. They had those bowlers, but you also have those batters who on the rain affected wickets there, and that enough to bat through the innings. Lyndon, I'm going to give way to young Rashawn Hackett. I'm sure you can tell him more about those glory days, and you can also tell the viewers what continues to go on here at the university ground.
Well, as you leave me, Andy, I suspect you're not going to be back. It's only needing 50 here for one team to win or the other. I wouldn't ask you who you think going to win. You didn't give me a winner at the 3Ws Oval. Young Rashawn Hackett comes back for his second stint. Good afternoon to you, Rashawn.
Hey, good afternoon, Lyndon. It's good to be back with you. How are you doing today?
Oh, it's excellent. As I like to say, LIG. You know what that acronym stands for?
I do not. You have to educate me on that one.
Life is good.
Life is good. I agree. Life is absolutely good. We have a beautiful day here for some cricket at Darrow's Road, and it looks to be an early day, so life is good indeed.
Yeah. Well, it simply means for me it's good once you wake up and you're breathing. You have an opportunity. Everybody has an opportunity to make maximum of the day ahead of them or night, whichever situation one finds themselves in. Wanderers, 244 for 9 innings close, batting a man short with Shem Watson unable to complete his innings. And it means that the Empire side, A&A Auto Parts and Accessories Empire, have been set 50 runs for victory. And Rashawn, I'm going to throw you under the microscope right away. Who would you pick to win this game?
Well, I think that anyone watching the cricket would pick Empire because they've been absolutely dominant from day one. They've shown no signs of weakness this game, and they've never backed down. So Empire, with just 50 runs for victory, I think that it should be an easy victory, a walk in the park indeed.
Well said. I can concur with you. We'll see if the Wanderers side have that in thought. I don't think they do, because they believe, and they have to go with the intent that it's still a game, 50 runs. There's no 50-run shot, and we just need to get 10 wickets to stay in this game under 50 runs. So here's the first delivery. It's going to be Kyron King to start from the Prof. Edwards end, and Hakeem Perman, who's opening with Kevin Stout, strokes the ball out to the cover fielder, who's across his right. So they will need another 49 no balls to start with, and this is the cardinal sin associated with this young man. He does have some pace, but this is one area where he has to get rectified and get it rectified as soon as possible. I think he's been plagued with this problem for quite some time, and he will need to get with his coaches, his various coaches or his respective coach, and iron this problem out. And the Empire side 49 as Kevin Stout will do battle with King.
Yes, Kevin Stout facing up his first delivery now. Well, King will go and come again, but Kevin Stout, he's played such a brilliant innings. The last time he scored 50 plus, and I'm sure that he'll want to repeat what he did in the first innings to win this game for the Empire side. I'm sure that these two opening batsmen will want to be here all the way to the end.
Well, Here is King from the Prof. Edwards end with a nice breeze into his face. It was a short delivery. And there is Stout in some problems to that short ball. He did pull his head down, took his eyes off the delivery. He doesn't look very comfortable against a short delivery. And on a pitch that is really lacking in pace, caught him a little by surprise. And shouldn't be surprised because here's a young fast bowler. And I believe as a fast bowler, you really got to gas it up. Whether the pitch is slow in nature, whether the pitch is offering something, you got to make the batsman work for it.
Yes, a rapid delivery on that one. Comes back Fuller. Oh, and there's a misfield by the wicketkeeper, and it goes all the way into the boundary for 4 byes. So Wanderers just add insult to injury.
Well, you said 4 byes, it's 4 runs. So a draw. Well, it went away from the keeper, and he didn't dive at it. This is Joshua Morris, and the ball hitting the inside edge of the bat down to the boundary for 4. So you see the advent of a short ball, what it causes, because Stoke just stood there and threw his bat at it without moving his feet. He survives, and now he's getting delivery on the line of the leg stump. He looks to hit this one into par hole, and the ball comes off the pad. He played one of those shots at the other end, just over the 3s when you come into the Wanderers ground, and it was really an audacious shot last week Saturday, and the difference here is the pacer is a lot quicker. He remains on 4. Hakeem Perman is 1. They're seeking 50 for victory. King is in. The delivery was short and slapped over the long on region vacant down to the boundary for 4. And clearly, he's not going to stick around. And he moves to 8. And that takes the Empire side a lot closer to that 50 for victory. They're now 10 without loss in the 5 deliveries that have been delivered by Kyron King.
Yes, Kevin Stout coming out looking aggressive from ball 1. Surely he'd want to get this game over with in quick timing. Perhaps he would like to go home and spend some time with the family.
He waits on King, gets a short delivery.
Oh, and he pulls that one over the mid-wicket area, and it goes into the boundary for 4 runs. A magnificent shot indeed.
Well, a half tracker, and this is what I say about the Wanderers pitch. It is very benign in pace. It's a half tracker. You can sit up and wait upon it. There are very few short deliveries that should worry a batsman at the Wanderers ground. And that was one of those short deliveries that was asking to be hit. Stout knew it was coming. He waited for it and just rolled his wrist over it and hit it through mid-wicket for 4. And he is up to 12. He's on the charge from 6 deliveries, 14 without loss in the first over, which is yet to be completed. Remember, that first delivery was a no ball.
Yes, and we now see a change in angle from young Kyron King. He's coming from around the wicket instead, and we see the deep square and deep mid-wicket going out onto the boundary. There's also a deep point in place. So let's see what he does now.
He's into Stout. Stout backs away, looks to cut it down behind backward point. Good offer, and chance he was taken there. And in the end, didn't make any contact taken by the keeper. So there's a little bit of a gap between the keeper and Boyce, who's at a second slip position. There's also a gap between Boyce and the gully in Lovell. There's a fielder at point, which is Jazz Griffith. Pice Emilian finds himself patrolling that short cover position. Short delivery outside in the off stump. And the end of over number 1. Finally, in the second innings, where the A&A other parts and accessories Empire on the march to victory. They required 50 for victory. At the end of over number 1, they're 15 without loss. Kevin Stout has 12 with him. Hakeem Perman, he's on 1.
Yes, we see Empire coming out and being positive immediately, and we also see quite a bit of a crowd gathering here at the Wanderers ground. Some folks coming to take in the cricket action. The new bowler for Wanderers looks like Jordan Nells. He will be coming from the Stephen Farmer end. And facing up will be Hakeem Perman. So just 35 runs required for victory here from the Empire side. Kevin Stout already having 12 to his name. Hitting 2 boundaries in that last over.
Perman will have the strike. And if you're just joining us, the Wanderers second innings folded at 244 for 9, with Shem Watson unable to complete his innings from 46.5 overs. setting the umpire side a target of 50 for victory. So look to the eastern side. It's getting pretty dark, but it's a nice breeze. So I don't think it's dark enough, and I don't think the breeze is strong enough either at the moment to help the Wanderers cause their iron defeat. Here is Jordan around the wicket to bowl to Priman. First delivery, short and swung in front of square for 4. Short delivery and hit through mid wicket for 4. So Perryman makes his intent clear as well. And it's interesting that Jordan opts to go around the wicket. It gives the batsman, the left-hander, a better look at it. And in no problems whatsoever in hitting that one through mid wicket for 4.
Yes, and that delivery also was a no ball. So Wanderers once again giving away extra runs when they really don't have much to play with here. Empire already up to 20 after just 1.1 overs. They require 30 now. So Jordan Nells, he wants to come back and redeem himself on that occasion. But Empire opening batsmen have looked to come out and just get a move on things, get it over with quickly.
2 slips, a point. Third man very square. Actually, that's a square point on the boundary. Interesting feel for the cut. And here's the video. This is driven and brilliantly knocked down by
that substitute fielder, Zafan Brown, at the extra cover, just stopping that one brilliantly.
There's no run. Still 20 without loss. We're in over number 2. So I think the Empire side, they're keeping an eye on the weather and the time. So they want to get it over and done with before, if there is any rain. Here's Jordan into bowl to Priman, and Priman gets a delivery. No ball once again, and it glides it out to Hart, who's off the square leg boundary like a hare. And another run attained, another 2 runs attained. And Empire getting some good assistance from the opening bowlers in terms of overstepping the front crease. And it is now up to 22, I make it, without loss. And Stout 12, Perryman 6. Nells in his first over.
Yes, the Wanderers bowlers just look to be generating that extra bit of pace, but in doing so, they're infringing the front crease, giving away a couple no balls already. So they'll want to correct that. Nells into Stout. That one just hitting him on the hip, going down to the fine leg area, just 1 run.
And you can hear the increase of wind in the microphones.
And Wanderers have given away extra runs. There's overthrows there, and Empire come back for yet another 2 runs. So Wanderers just have come out and they've looked dotish. They look out of it, Lyndon.
Well, it's very hard when you're going to try to defend 50. You can't defend 50. I feel a couple sprinkles. So Empire 24 with those 2 extra runs. Or is it 25? 25 without loss. So those 2 slips have now, one of it disappeared and has gone to fine leg. So slip, gully, wide third man, cover, mid off, mid on, mid wicket, deep square leg, and a deep fine leg. Or not even a deep fine leg, but a fine leg in position. So Perryman back on strike. He has 6. Stout has 12. And Wanderers, who in the first innings scored 176. They did a lot better in the second innings, 244 for 9. But in the circumstances, here's a short delivery. And that seemed to have landed on the helmet. And Perryman guilty of taking his eyes off the ball as well. He now readjusts the helmet. He's going to take it off. And no ball called by the umpire. He looks at his helmet, but that was a short delivery. And committing the cardinal sin of taking his eyes off the ball. It didn't bounce as he anticipated, but he pulled his head down, went through with the shot, and the ball climbing onto the helmet and working its way down to the fine leg boundary. Not quite in the boundary, but the important thing is he gets off the strike, and it's 27 without loss. Here is Jordan Nells with some pace and some aggression in the short delivery, and there's Stout looking to hit this one into the Hearts gap area. The ball hits the bottom of the bat and works its way to short mid wicket, and there is no run in it, a little too early. And young Jordan Nells. I have some time for this young man. He does have some pace about him, but I'm not so sure the pace will work at a club like him, like the Wanderers club, where the pitches are generally good for batting and slow bowling, harmless for fast bowling. Here he is, teams in from the Stephen Farmer end, and bowls a little bit ill-directed down the leg side. Nice take by Joshua Morris behind the stumps.
Yes, Nells just looks to be a bit rattled here, overstepping, bowling down the leg side, and you can really tell by the body language, Lyndon, that the Wanderers side look to be dejected. Bowler walking back to his mark very slowly. There's no encouragement in the field, so it just appears as if they're out of it. It just appears that they've accepted this defeat, and it looks to be no fight back whatsoever. We now saw an overthrow in the last over, so they just look to be going with the flow while Empire continue to attack.
Nells in short delivery, hit through mid-wicket for 4. Short ball again. Benign in pace. The pitch here at Wanderers, and the overuse of the short deliveries. Meat and drink on a beautiful Sunday afternoon, and Kevin Stout in his wicket early and just swiveled and pulled it through mid-wicket for 4 as the partnership moves to 31 and the target remains 50. And I suspect if it continues like this, young Rashawn, it could be over in less than 2 overs.
Yes, most definitely. Well, maybe not less than 2 overs, because we now see 1 ball remaining in this over, so maybe less than 3 overs.
Well, actually, what I said, less than another 2 overs. That's what I really
okay. Yes, less than another 2 overs for sure. I thought you meant less than the second over, but we now see Jordan Nells coming back in to Kevin Stout.
How does he respond? He's into bowl to Stout, and this will be pitched up, and Stout drags it to the mid-on position, and had that hit the stumps instead of hitting Kevin Stout on the body, it would have been mighty close.
Yes.
But fortune favors the brave. The end of the over at last, and in pursuit of 50 for victory. A&A auto parts and accessories. Empire, they're coursing along. They're 32 without loss after 2.
Yes, 32 without loss after 2, and the story is clear here. Empire have come out, they've looked to attack, they've looked to be hostile, and in so they've done that well. Wanderers just have had no response throughout this entire game, all the way from the first innings. They had no response to the bowling of young Jaden Yard, and then they had no response to the batting of Kofi Hurdle with a superb 100. And now Empire just come out to finish it off, to score these 50 runs, and they're doing so in quick time in 32 without loss after 2 overs. Tyrone King returns for the Wanderers side. He's already conceded 15 in his first over. Empire requiring just 18 runs for the victory.
Well, here is King to bowl to Stout. Stout gets a short delivery. A bouncer, wide signal by the umpire, ill-directed down the leg side, and taken by keeper Morris behind the stumps. And resuming, their second innings 182 for 5, where Raymond Reefer had a top score of 57 from 46 deliveries, 5 4s and 3 6s. The innings went into decline with only Ian Boyce sticking around, and he got 50 odd not out. Here's a short delivery, banged away and put down by Hart at square leg. The catch should have been taken, and he was kind of wanting to get to the ground to take the catch rather than moving around to it, and he put down the catch at square leg, and Stout fights on, and we see the replay and trying to get another chance at it. I think it might have banged it, went right through his hand and hit into the chest. Yes, now he holds the chest. It was hit hard, and he definitely would have underestimated the strength with which Stout hit that delivery. He is still down on his knees, and let's hope that all is well. Umpire Kareem Tate, along with several of the Wanderers players, are making their way to him to have a look at him, and it would have been a meaty blow in the body, in the middle of the chest area. He is on both feet. That's a good sign. And 35 for loss of no wickets. So as if to add insult to injury, a drop catch, and he pays the price with some pain.
Yes, that one hit with pure power and disdain. Kevin Stout just attacking that one, and it went down to Hart very hard, but he did not complete the catch. Putting it down, I'm just glad he's all right and up. I'm sure he'll be in a lot of pain, but luckily they should be off the field soon, Lyndon, and he'll be able to put some ice on that wound. So I'm glad that he's up, and I'm glad that he's doing better, and it was nothing too serious.
I like the way you said it. Luckily, they'll be off the field soon. And if you're just joining us, it isn't that they'll be off the field soon for lunch, but they'll be off the field soon for the day as the Pigeons begin to make their way. They decide that they have taken up residency in the field, quite rightfully so too. They might have a better part to play than the Wanderers side. Kyron King to both to Hakeem Perryman. And to this delivery, left hand gets a short delivery, pulls at it, pulls off the edge and will go down to fine leg for 4. So you say that's a victory to the bowler. He was throwing for pace. Again, he has his problems with his short delivery, but he's prepared to put the fight, and he lives to survive. He gets 4, he moves to 10, and Empire soldiering on 39 without loss. But the Pacers, they're making it quite rough for the batsmen who are fighting fire with fire.
Yes, we see Pacers just sticking to that short ball plan, asking the batsmen to pull consistently, and the batsmen are not backing down. Perryman pulling at that one hard and just getting a thick outside edge, going upwards into the boundary.
King, right arm around the wicket from the Prof. Edwards end, and he aborts his run. Dead ball signaled by umpire Leon Lane. 39 without loss. And King, 1 over. And the delivery is conceded some 22 of 39. The target is 50. Empire requires another 11 for victory. He's around the wicket to bowl to Perryman. Perryman gets a short delivery, and he does the right thing this time, anticipating that short delivery. Another no ball, and another aircraft makes its way to the Grant Yellows International Airport. It is now 40 without loss.
Yes, King just sticking to his short ball plan. I don't think that that one was a no ball for infringing the front crease. I just think that that one was more than his allotted short balls for the over, but King not seem to be fazed by that. I won't be surprised if he goes back to yet another short delivery.
He's into bowl to Perryman. Perryman gets a short delivery, and it seems that you are playing a game or video game, and he delivers a short delivery, and Perryman under it. So I think he has realized that the pace is maybe a little more than he wants at the moment. He's not more at home against a short delivery, and he's now ducked on 2 occasions, having thrown caution to the wind. The very first short ball that came along at him this over. He waits on King, who I'm sure will still be aggressive. 40 without loss. The target is 50. Short delivery, and he's under it. So a barrage of short pitch bowling now being fetted to Hakeem Perryman. It's not going to daunt the Empire side because the target is a mere 50. Conditions have gotten a lot lighter. The wind has abated somewhat, and the Pigeons have now taken up residency at long off.
Yes.
Originally, they were in the mid-wicket region. Here is Kyron King still around the wicket to bowl to Perryman, and Perryman gets it a bit pitched up and drives it. And a brilliant bit of fielding by the substitute Brown. And there is no run to the total.
This spell reminds me of Fire in Babylon when they told the West Indians that they would make them grovel, and the West Indians return with short balls after short balls, and we just see that from King, just firing it up, bowling short balls, aiming it at the head of Perryman. Let's see what he does on this ball. King comes in to Perryman. Another short delivery, and he's ducking on that occasion, so he's sticking with his short ball plan with pace.
And taken by Morris. So I would call it an overuse of the short delivery. The batsman has gotten accustomed to it. He knows what to look for. And here's the lack of experience by the young man. Does he have a trick? Does he have a slower delivery? Does he have a weight off? He's in and bowls another short delivery. And the batsman goes under it. No ball called by the umpire. Rightfully so as well. He's overused the short delivery. And he has bowled 1, 2, 3, 4. I count 5 consecutive. No, don't let me be wrong to the young man. He had 3 consecutive short deliveries, followed by a pitched up delivery, followed by 2 short deliveries, but the overuse of the short delivery. 9 runs remaining.
King into Perryman. Another short delivery. And it brings you over to an end. 41 without loss after 3 overs.
And it also brings a faint drizzle. So the Wanderers ground. And the umpire just looking towards the Pahole Road end. That is the southeastern side of the country, where it is not as dark as it was before. If I look to the south, it is pretty light gray clouds, but the rains are here. And the umpires are content to get into their position. They're going to take the cap of Jordan Niles. Leon Lane is going to retreat to square leg. So play will continue in this faint drizzle. And you know, cricket can't play in rain, but you can continue in it. That's the difference. You can't go on when the rain is falling, but if you're on and it's falling like it is at the moment, not falling hard, and that rain has abated quickly, and I think it was more or less what was pushed out by the wind. And the action to continue. 9 required for victory. The target is 50. 41 without loss. Stout is on strike. He has 18 from 13. Perryman at non-circus and 10 from 13. Here is Jordan Niles into bowl to Stout. And Stout stands up tall, plays it up to the field at the mid-on position. Who has it under control? There is no run. Newsflash, pitched up delivery.
Yes, pitched up delivery from the other end. So Nells, he's not opting to do as what Kyron King did, going to the short delivery almost every ball of that last over. He's just deciding to pitch up. My bold prediction, though, Lyndon, is that I reckon that this will be the last over of this game.
Well, since you reckon that, I'll give you the honor of doing the last rights, then take it away.
Yes. Nells into Stout. I'm sure that Stout will be looking to attack. Full delivery, and he pumps it back to Nells. Gets a hand to it, but he puts it down. Lyndon, that one struck firmly back to the bowler, but he had absolutely no chance of taking it. As we see the replay now, just taking the hand out, and it hits the right hand and goes down. I think that he did good there, though, because if not for that hand, that ball would have been flying to the boundary, hitting the wall.
I think it was more self-preservation than anything else. Reflex action, he just took his hand out, but catch gone down nonetheless.
Yes, into Stout again, short delivery, and it's ballooned off the wicket over everyone, and it goes into the boundary for 4 wides. Wanderers continue to leak runs. I don't think there's much that could have been done on that occasion, though. That ball just possibly hitting a crack and going way higher than everyone expected it to go.
Yes, it did have a tennis ball loop, and after hitting the wicket, just looped over the head of the batsman. He had no chance, not even with his back up to the heavens. And the keeper, Joshua Morris, who's at least, I make him 10 to 12 yards back, had no chance whatsoever. And the sundry gives away. Emperor just need 4 runs for victory.
Yes, Nells into Stout. Stout just on the back foot, punching that one. Opts not to take the single, so Stout wants to finish this game. Just 4 runs required now for victory.
So you're saying he didn't take the single because he wants to finish the game with a boundary?
Well, I would assume so, because it was an obvious single, not to you, Lyndon?
Yes, it was there for the taking. But I think he suspects that a short ball will come at some point in time. A boundary ball will come, basically. But there's a fielder at square leg, long leg, deep mid-wicket, and a point on the boundary.
Yes. Nells comes into Stout. Just 4 runs required. And he hits it all the way over the boundary for 6 runs. And that's the end. Empire wins it in convincing style. Stout just hitting that one into the boundary. 1 hand off the bat, and it goes into the ropes for 6 runs. A magnificent game comes to an end, dominated by Empire. Truly superb stuff, Lyndon. What did you make of it?
Well, congratulations to the A&A Auto Parts and Accessories Empire side as they steamroll the home team Wanderers by 10 wickets in a game that really got away from the Wanderers side yesterday. Basically, I would say let's go back to the start. Wanderers 176 in the first innings, really not enough. In the second innings, they got up to 244 for 9 innings closed, batting a man short of 46.5 overs. And yesterday, an innings of 108 by Kofi Hurdle, 8 fours and 9 sixes, 96 deliveries, definitely took the fight away from the Wanderers side, as Wanderers were plummeted around the park for 371 for 9 when the declaration came. Ian Boyce, He picked up 4 for 86 to be Wanderers' best bowler in deficit by 195 on first innings. They closed day 2 in all sorts of trouble at 182 for loss of 5, which means they still needed to raise a deficit of 13 runs, and they only had 5 wickets for which to do it. And basically, at the start of the final day, they were aware that they only had 4 wickets in the hutch, and only Ian Boyce towards the end, and he got a good total. I'll give you his final total. Ian Boyce in the Wanderers innings, second innings, he helped himself to 52 not out. 52 not out. And that 52 not out was important, but I think that he didn't give his team much of a chance, realizing that the lower order of Jordan Nells, Pius Emilian, and Kyron King, not known for their batting. I think that he could have thrown a little caution to the wind, tried to get as much runs as possible to help himself, to help his team to set Empire a proper target rather than a meager 50 runs. And in only 3.4 overs, the Empire side cantered home without losing a wicket. And Wanderers, who resumed at 182 for 5, were eventually dismissed for 244, which means eventually they would have added some 44 plus 18 runs, making that 62 runs. 62 runs they added for losing those other 4 wickets, setting the Empire side 50 for victory, which was never going to be enough. And Hakeem Perriman and Kevin Stout survived a barrage of short deliveries, some of which were plummeted to all parts of the Wanderers' ground. One crashed into the helmet of Perriman, and at the end of the day, the Wanderers side there have been comprehensively outplayed by A&A, other parts and accessories, Empire side.
Yes, comprehensively outplayed. I don't think that you could have described it any better. Empire have came out and they've been dominant on this first game, and they've just looked the part. And maybe Lyndon, my apologies. And I went to call you Andy because I've been working with him the whole morning. But Lyndon, Empire have came out and they've just looked the part all morning. They've looked the part all 3 days. And we see on the screen our man of the match, young Jaden Yard, with a magnificent 7 for 41. And he scored 13 from 28 runs not out. So he's had a good all-round performance, young Jaden Yard. And it was a terrific start to his career in the Elite Division with the Empire side, but comprehensively outplayed. No better words to describe it, Lyndon.
Yes, the spell by Young Yard, 7 for 41 or 44, I think he got, was a good spell. You got to take it to the young man. He doesn't have that pace, but he bowled good lines. He asked questions. A couple of the wickets he got were assisted, but you can't take that from him because he did his job, which was to pick those areas, and he picked the right areas. He was rewarded with 7 for 41. 7 for 41. Very good spell. Wasn't effective in the second innings, but really wasn't needed in that Wanderers total of 244 for 9. All out in his close, batting a man short, as the Empire side got the job done and set themselves a mere 50 runs for victory. So it is a good start for the Empire side, and not the perfect start, or not the ideal start for the Wanderers side, who were simply backs against the wall from day one. 176 runs on a pitch that is benign in pace, a pitch that's easy for batting. I think the batsmen simply did not apply themselves, and at the end of day one, they were shut out for 176, and quickly at that stage, I think the Empire side had gotten 50 odd early off the exchanges in response, and then a big lead in the end of 195 was always going to be a massive undertaking. But I believe that if cricket is to get back to where it uses to be, or where it ought to be, where we want it to be, that this total of 195 should have been erased. It was erased. Yesterday it took off 182 while losing 5 wickets, but today I saw no terror in the pitch. There's no reason that suggested to me that the Wanderers side should have been dismissed for 244. Ian Boyce batted well was in no trouble whatsoever. He made 52 not out. Like I said, was in no trouble. Had no help towards the end. It's a short tail the Wanderers side had, if you want to call it. It's a very short tail. And there were steamroll in the end and just handed the Empire side a cakewalk, you could call it, in the park, because to be bowled out on day one for 176 runs, you're going to struggle to get back in the game. And Empire having amassed a massive 371 for 9 when the declaration came, with Kofi Hurdle 108 not out, 96 deliveries, 8 fours and 9 sixes. He was the trump card that led, and his 100 came off 96 deliveries, less than a run a ball basically, and that was important. What it allowed the Empire side to do is have extra time to bowl at the Wanderer side, and a comfortable lead of 195 runs meant that the Empire side could extend to their bowlers a nice run of 6-7 over spells per bowler, and 195 runs to play with the fact that if Wanderers batted the same way they did in the first innings, they were going to get some assistance.
Yes, definitely. Great performances this game. We talked about young Jaden Yard taking 7 for 41. You know, talked about Kofi Hurdle with a magnificent 100, but that doesn't take away from the performances of the others. We saw Ian Boyce also scoring a half century, taking 4 wickets in the first innings as well. We saw Raymond Reefer fighting back with some resistance for the Wanderers side, but I think that, you know, mentioned something there, Lyndon, about on this wicket, not enough runs were scored by the Wanderers side, and I just didn't see the application from the side. We talked about batsmen getting a lot of starts last week but not carrying on, and I would have loved to see a lot more of these batsmen carrying on. Ian Boyce, he looked in such good touch, but he fell. Raymond Reefer, he looked so good, and he fell all to loose shots. So I think that a bit more application is required on this pitch in order for more runs to be scored, and Kofi Hurdle did that so well, although he was put down on 2 different occasions, but he capitalized and he continued. So the lack of runs just have to do with a lack of application. Young Joshua Morris as well would have scored 43 for Wanderers, and he fell playing a sweep shot just adjacent with the stumps being given out LBW. So I think more application was definitely necessary for the Wanderers side, and no discredit done to the Empire bowlers. They've been consistent all game. We had Jaden Edmond and Dre Springer opening the bowling, who have been so consistent. There was also the likes of Jaden Yard, who would have bowled well. Roston Chase featured in a very short spell, but he would have held down things. We had Shaquem John Rott, the left arm spinner, who would have bowled a good spell. So I think that Empire would have been on top in both areas, both with bat and ball, throughout this entire game.
Yeah, and like you rightfully said, the lack of application was critical to the final outcome. And it is not only this game, because when you look around, the Wentworth YMPC game finished early. That's lack of application as well, where the Wentworth side were shut out on day 2 for a subpar total of under 100. You know, and I think that batsmen have to value their wickets. It's long and short of cricket. You have pitches. If you look at the middle, the covers are on. So the pitches are covered, which means the pitches have to be good for batting. Basically, they might not be quick. They might be slow side, but it just means you need to apply yourself and make the necessary adjustment. We never saw that in this game from the Wanderers side, not even in the second innings. And gathering from what I saw today, having missed yesterday, the 182 that they closed yesterday was a decent total, having me set 195 to erase first to make the Empire side bat again. But then today, only Ian Boyce showed up. He did what he had to do, 4 for 86. Like I said, he's very reliable. I call him Mr. Reliable where Wanderers is concerned. It reminds me a lot of Ian Bradshaw. You could rely on him batting, bowling, fielding. He just turns up, call on him, and he answers it. I think the one time today he did not answer the call was with the lower batting, with his lower half of his batting. He scored 52 not out. He had Kyron King, Price Emilian, and Jordan Nells to bat. Now, those 3 on any given Saturday will not score 25 put together. Consistently, they won't score 25. On the odd day, Jordan Nice himself could get 40 odd, 50 odd quickly within 17, 18, 20 balls. It could work for Wanderers. It could also work against Wanderers. More often than not, it would work against Wanderers, as it did today. All that was needed, no terror in the wicket, is for any one of those 3 to stick around with Boyce. Having said that, he also had to take the initiative to realize, look, Nells is going to throw caution to the wind. If I can't calm him, then I'm going to keep him off the strike. so as to allow the innings to be extended, so as to give Wanderers more runs to play with, shorten the time that the umpire have to chase these runs, whatever target that would have been set. Having lost Jordan Nells, Bryce Emilia never sticked around, got 2 deliveries, and so did Kyron King. Left 1, 2 deliveries until he left one that was, or until he kicked one, I should say, and umpire Leon Lane had no choice but to give him out. Having said that, I think that was the opportunity there for Boyce, having exposed Kyron King, to take the initiative from the bowling, 4 balls and over, try to get maybe the odd boundary or 2 of those 4 balls, then you can try to get back the strike, 5th ball or 6th ball, so as not to expose the lower order that's already, the short tail that was already exposed. And I think from that perspective, that's where I would have had a difference with his batting, but all in all, he batted well. He did what I expect him to do, except for that part. I think that as a batsman, you got to read the game down. You got to take the initiative. You got to know when you are in the driver's seat. You got to know when you're on the back foot. The key to cricket is to transfer that pressure. You can't soak up all the pressure. I thought he soaked up all the pressure to the point where he just drilled himself into the hole and say that. At the end of the day, the next 3 or 4 after me are going to get out. I'm not going to get out. But having said that, it's fine not to get out, but you could have helped your side with maybe 20, 25 more runs. Not that it would have made a difference to the outcome, but to his overall development of the game and to his posture within the team as the all-rounder, as the savior, as the go-to guy, as the rescuer for the Wanderers side, who simply were outplayed in every department. And the main area we thought they fell down in, like you said, they never applied themselves. That's from a batting perspective. Where the bowling is concerned, I think the Pacers went for all pace and all short balls. Useless at Wanderers. Useless. You got to mix aggression with common sense bowling, so you need to bowl those good lines and length. And the basic thing is that a bowler needs to control a batsman. A bowler cannot let a batsman dictate what he's going to do, because then the scoreboard will keep rolling over and rolling over. The short balls were very predictable. It's a standing weight. You use a short ball accordingly, use it sparingly. Hakeem Primary is not very comfortable against short ball. Most people aren't comfortable against short ball, but what we saw here today, neither him nor Stoke were comfortable, but they could predict when the short ball was coming. Because it was being overused, it offered them the perfect opportunity to plummet a couple of boundaries, which they got with nonchalant ease. And that's an area where it's your club. So to Kyron King and Jordan Nells, maybe you have a couple of games, 4 or 5 games home, but you got to work it out. The overuse of the short ball is not going to work. You got to contain the batsman, that's line and length, and neither of the two does a lot with the ball in terms of lateral movement. So therefore, you can rely on pace. So you want to jump a batsman, couple deliveries to keep him quiet, 6 meter mark, 5 meter mark. The odd ball to get him open up his eyes, see a drive, and then you stick the short ball in it. Not short, 3 gone to the boundary, because there's no comeback. Eventually, you still have to come up, and the batsman by then would be totally in sync with the benign nature of the pitch, meet and drink. So congratulations to the umpire side.
Yes, congratulations to the Empire side indeed. I think that you summed it up so well. A lack of application, but not only a lack of application, Lyndon, a lack of awareness and match scenarios, because Wanderers, what they did throughout this whole game, where they were just fighting back with Empire, trying to apply pressure on pressure, but I think that sometimes of the game just required just standing down a bit and just taking some time out of the game, especially today. I was telling Andy earlier that I think Wanderers just need to bat as long as possible. Get runs on the board, yes, but take some time out of the game, potentially putting up a score and leaving Empire with as little time as possible to chase these runs, but they continue to attack. You talked about the tail, and I guess from your point of view, I guess Boyce could have understood a bit more that he had to step up and maybe put a bit more runs on the board. So I think it was a lack of understanding, it was a lack of awareness. But first game of the season, congrats to Empire. Definitely a lot to learn from it, from both teams.
Well, we're going to put a wrap on the proceedings here at the Wanderers ground. Rashawn, I certainly want to thank you for what has been an inspiring opportunity to work with you as you go into this area of expertise. I also want to thank Wayne Holder, who deputized yesterday, Andy Payne, who was with us, and of course, the streaming will continue for the next round. Of course, it's the Barbados Cricket Association's Elite first round of matches, and we featured Wanderers versus Empire. In summarizing the scores, Wanderers in the first innings 176 and 244 for 9 innings closed. Empire 371 for 9 declared. Kofi Hurdle 108. And requiring 50 victory. A Auto Parts and Accessories, Empire, they rolled home 52 without loss. On the behalf of the entire production, Lyndon Yard saying good evening and goodbye from Wonders.